Yes, before we get going, I'll play a quick short video about IMC and as a ritual. So it's a brief 3 minutes video. I hope it's audible to everyone.
Quality.
Is it audible to everyone?
Yes, audible.
Perfect.
Yes.
So I'll be on mute now.
Yes, audible.
Innovation, respect, and integrity. Take steps to invest in your career. International Management Consultancy is the leading global marketplace for learning and instruction, helping professionals across the industry to develop skills and expertise to get recognition and growth in the corporate world. We are one of the leading training providers and gradually spreading our training facility amongst candidates based at different geographies, such as Canada, United States of America, United Arab Emirates, Saudi, Kuwait, Qatar, Oman, Lebanon, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Vietnam, Philippines, India, and many other countries across the globe. IMC is accredited by the highest industry standards. We put in the efforts and we work to prove our commitment to offering our clients only the best and of superior quality. With a uniquely immersive curriculum that combines live instruction from the leading experts, peer-to-peer collaboration, on-demand lessons, unlimited online trainings, and 24/7 learning support, IMC helps over thousands of professionals learn their skills needed to advance their careers and reach their full potential. In line with our commitment to excellence, IMC offers a number of training courses preparing professionals for certifications and exams given by the international associations in areas like management, finance and accounting, human resources, sales and marketing, quality administration, and as well as project management. By fully attending these courses and successfully completing the requirements of the certifying body, participants will receive a special certificate which recognizes their dedication and commitment and in many cases help them earn valuable continuing education credit. IMC Consultants has been working together with their clients from various industries in aligning their people and processes to compete through high speed, excellent quality, and low cost. We strongly believe that the key to our success is our total commitment in delivering value to our clients based on integrity, honesty, and openness. If you are uncertain about which roles or skills are best for you, hurry! Come visit our website or talk to our expert education consultants today. Take a step, invest in your future, empower your knowledge, and be one of our success stories. International Management Consultancy, excellence is what we deliver.
All right, so thanks a lot for hearing this out. Before we get going, I would like to give a very brief introduction about myself. I have roughly 21 years of experience by now. That's my best guess. Yes, so most like 21 or 22. Majority has been into the service industry. Until 2014, I was engaged with the corporate sector in the service industry. And since 2014, I have only been doing Lean Six Sigma training and consulting projects for, and that's the only area. Practically, I prefer to be master of one rather jack of all trades. So that's the area which I specialize in. I'm a registered project management practitioner. So I do use my PMP knowledge for like my Lean Six Sigma project itself. So that's been the core area of work. If I talk about my clientele, majority of my work is in Middle East, be it UAE, Qatar. Qatar is, I would say, the second home to me, where that's where I spend a lot of time. I do travel a lot there. Some of work we have in Europe, and yes, some projects in India, Bangladesh, where I've carried out, we've dealt with most of the clients. People joining from India would definitely recognize the institutions like IITs and IIMs. I have delivered exactly the same training in most of the IITs and IIMs. And so they are the most reputed institutions in India. And apart from this, yes, I have been delivering all the trainings for Qatar University for all this while. So practically last 2-3 years, all the trainings in Qatar have been delivered by me, which are sponsored by the government. So that's been the area of work. If I talk about the industries, practically there's no limit to it. Be it oil and natural gas, constructions, data centers, uh, your healthcare industry, hospitality, publication houses, tea gardens, and practically whatnot. There's no linkage, and practically there's no limit to it. That's the beauty about Lean Six Sigma. I come from an industry where and I have no idea about these industries that I'm talking about, whether it's oil and natural gas, constructions, data centers. I have never worked with these industries, I have zero knowledge. That's what Six Sigma can do to you. Well, a lot of people like me who are consultants in Six Sigma, it increases the chance of you doing well in your career by multiple times, because there's no boundaries, no restrictions. Every industry is your industry. Every department is your department. What background do you come from? Well, definitely doesn't matter, because every industry has certain peculiar challenges. Every organization has challenges. It doesn't matter what kind of department, domain we talk about, whether we talk about like a department wise, you coming from operations, quality, training, finance, marketing. Well, it doesn't matter. Do you have a problem? Yes. If we have a problem or there's a scope for doing better, well, Six Sigma will fit in there. So don't worry about it. So till the time you know your concepts right, there's no looking back from that standpoint. So my focus in the entire training program of 30 hours program will be specifically to make sure that you understand the concept. Because if you get the concept right, it's not related to like a specific industry, got people from different backgrounds. So it's important to make sure that we use generalized concepts so that we all can understand the concept. Because if I just start talking about IT related stuff, people from manufacturing or other industry will feel alienated, and vice versa. So we try to always ensure that even in the job interviews, your common understanding about the concept will be tested. Because even if you join an IT company, you will be sort of expected to deliver projects in different areas. Well, you are in a process excellence department, and within a specific industry, well, you have departments like HR, you have departments of operations, you have quality, and all those departments are different. And every department has different job roles. So concepts are tested in the job interview, not your industry specific knowledge, because your role is of Lean Six Sigma professional. The big question is, do you know what a Lean Six Sigma professional is supposed to do? And yes, that's why during the job interview, the focus is always on the concept, not on the industry that you come from. So on that note, I would like to kind of make it pretty clear from the beginning. You will not see any slides, no slides whatsoever, because Lean Six Sigma is a practitioner's job. You will be expected to deliver projects. You will be expected to solve a business problem by doing the projects. Nobody is there kind of asking you to go and prepare presentations and kind of talk and write those theses. No, practically not. You have a problem, but somebody is hiring you to solve a problem. So the person wants to have somebody who has practical understanding how to solve a problem. I have a data. We'll look at the data and help me understand how should I solve it. Simple, point blank. There's no sugarcoating required here. So the important part is, do we know, like the learning has to be in a certain way that how a project is actually executed. When we deal with an hire for my project or for hire for my client, generally the biggest disconnect we get to see that the people who have taken up the trainings, they have theoretical knowledge. I may know 20 different tools, 30 different tools, when to use what tool in a right sequence. What if this tool doesn't work? What's my alternative? That concept is missing. The link between theory and practical, the transition of theory to practical, is the biggest gap. And that's what we are trying to match up. Okay, Mithun, okay, just give me one quick second. Mithun, I guess you are not able to listen because your mic. Okay, let's see. Maybe just give me one quick moment. Mithun, okay, let me just kind of quickly. Audio. I guess that should be fine. So I guess it should be fine now. Yeah, Mithun, I guess you should be able to hear now. I can see a mic for you now. Mithun, can you confirm? I hope it should be fine because I can see the mic. Everyone's mic is available, so that
Yes,
tells me it's perfect. So
yes,
we
thank
just
you.
we just trying to talk about the basic whereabouts. So practically during this training, we will be trying to make sure that we try to focus on the concepts and learn through the entire material as if we have started a project and how we'll end the project. So there's never a gap in terms of like after this training, should you be ready to start a project? And the answer is yes. So we try to make sure that we learn and we learn it the right way, rather learning theory and then trying to speculate what I could have done. We don't want to live in that misery or sort of dilemma. So whatever I've learned all this while in this field, I would like to kind of share that knowledge. You all come from different backgrounds. You're all experts in your department, your areas. It's a knowledge exchange program. So technically, I want you all to participate. Trust, there's no question which is a bad question or wrong question. And the only one which has not been asked are the wrong ones. So please do not hesitate to ask your question. You have your chat option open. Please do share your question on the chat. If possible, yes, if in case you think it's an elaborated one, then you feel free to unmute yourself. And I will definitely be asking question. I would try to ask the question, but it's very important, the investment that you do in this 30 hours. Let's make the best out of it because people have made careers out of these 30 hours. So if they can do it, so you can. And trust, there's no looking back after that. So yeah, we have to be physically and mentally present for these 30 hours. And let's make a big deal out of it. It should be a like an experience where we enjoy this entire program while we learn an important skill, which will be and like a feather on the cap. You all are professionals and you're great professionals, but apart from this, what you will be able to do is add up something on top of it. So what you currently know is definitely of a great value add that cannot be substituted. The experience you have, that's definitely always on the top. This is icing on the cake. So pretty much we are going to add another tool to that, your existing knowledge that you have. So on that note, a bit of information I want to share before we get going. I do prepare detailed notes. So these notes will be shared in this Google Drive. Let me show what's there in the Google Drive right now. This is where I will be sharing notes. So there's some project files. As I said, it's a project-based stuff. So you have to know how it's done, not theory. So there'll be data files that we'll be using. Any global data set, any industry, if you know how to handle these three types of data, you can solve any project in the world, because when we go through the process, you'll understand data can fall into these three categories. Doesn't matter which industry. So if you know how to solve these so there are some data sets, so we will have problems in this and we will try to solve this. A reference project is given here. So how a typical Six Sigma project would look like for you to get a reference idea. Practically, that's already there for you to download. Apart from this, MINITAB is a statistical software we will be using. We would not require it now. Technically around like fourth session, most likely fourth session. So whenever the time comes in, I'll inform you well in advance that the time has come to install MINITAB. And there's another reference project. So there'll be day-wise folder I'll start creating. Like so today when we complete the session, whatever notes I would have prepared, some extra files that we have used, templates, trackers, I will share it in day-wise folder. So you will have access to this. Remember, this is only view access. So you can't, yes, you can view things on the Google Drive. You can download it. Then when it's on your local system, well, do whatever you want, but you can't make changes while you're in the Google Drive. So you will always have when you want to make changes here, you will always get like an error, bottom line, because it has only view access. You can download it, definitely yes. Then when on your system, do whatever you want. Otherwise, because a lot of people access it and accidentally, if we have to give you edit right, if somebody accidentally deletes it, then everyone will lose the data. So we have to keep it to that point. So you can simply download it. You'll have all the material at your system. So every time, whenever we complete session, I will be uploading this on this Google Drive. That's number one. I will be sharing this file. So any which ways, when you get my file once, you get all the links by default. Recordings, every session is getting recorded. So whenever sessions are taken care of, it takes 24 hours. Please remember, when we today do this, like complete the session, recording of this session will be available tomorrow. not today, but tomorrow. These are heavy files and it needs to be processed. It takes time, and plus have some encryption stuff. There is a different Google Drive in which this is maintained by IMC. So the IMC tech support team, they maintain. So right now there's nothing in here because this is maintained by the IMC team. So the first one is maintained by me, which will have all the notes, and the second one is for the recordings, which will be available the next day. MINITAB link is here. So as I said, MINITAB is a statistical software which looks like this. That's a link for downloading free trial version. This is how MINITAB looks like. Let me open up the link. All you have to do is fill in these details and you'll be able to get a link. You'll be able to download MINITAB. Just follow the instructions. Free trial version for 30 days. Remember one thing, you can only install MINITAB on a laptop or a desktop, no mobile phone, no tablet, nothing. And you can only install this free trial version once. Even if you uninstall it or format your laptop or PC, it doesn't matter. You cannot use it again. It's a paid version, but comes with 30 days of trial version, which is a full version. It's not limited. It's 100% full version. So you will have all the features there. All corporates by default use MINITAB. So today, when you go to an organization for a job interview, it's expected that people will have knowledge of MINITAB. So earlier, the only qualifying criteria was that whether you know Six Sigma or not. Today, they want to know whether you know Six Sigma plus MINITAB because they spend a lot of money in training people on MINITAB. It's the need of the hour globally, not one location, globally. Default Six Sigma professionals should know MINITAB. I do a lot of trainings for corporates, for Six Sigma, green belts, black belts who have never seen MINITAB, never touched it. They have written the exam, they passed the exam. That's it. But they've never worked on MINITAB. The concepts are known, but how to use it, no idea. So we do specialized training. These are very expensive trainings which we conduct for corporates. We will learn it along with the course. So you would not have to go anywhere for any additional training. This will be a big differentiating factor when you sit through job interview, which is MINITAB knowledge. So Six Sigma plus the MINITAB knowledge, which is generally not covered. So no extra training required for that. Okay, now before we talk about the LMS tool, I would like to include it. Oops, my bad. Okay. One more thing, WhatsApp group. Well, I don't have a link of WhatsApp group. I'm also a member WhatsApp group for this batch. So please, I'm sure like I've seen a lot of people. I'm also part of the group. I was added by the IMC support team. So if you are not a part of the WhatsApp group, I would highly request you to please connect with your program coordinator, whosoever got you enrolled, connect with your program coordinator and get yourself added in the WhatsApp group. It will, because all the updates about will be shared in the WhatsApp group. It's a common platform for every one of us to get connected during the session, after the training also. So we will be connected all on that WhatsApp group. Please do connect because I do share a lot of stuff on, and even the IMC team will be, if you have any question, you can post. So that's common platform. Please, if you're not a part of WhatsApp group, please get it connected. Connect with you. Well, I don't have access to add anyone because I was myself added to the group. But yes, please do connect on that. Now, one more thing about LMS. Everyone should have got access to the LMS, which is your learning management system. Let me quickly get away with this one. Okay, now we're done with this. Now LMS, you must have logged in through your IMC portal to log into your courses, whatever courses you have enrolled for. Now, these are pre-recorded videos. Oh, well, that's one of my sessions where I guess it's a dated old session, whatever it is, but sessions recordings are already there for some previous batches. I don't know which one is it, but this is for my session recordings. I guess, yes, 12 sessions, because there were limited hour sessions there and it got extended somehow. So, and apart from that, there's another, like the other trainers also. So there are 2 session recordings which are available, complete course. So you can definitely refer to these recordings also. If you want to, just watch these recordings and you can have the information. So that's one part. Some bit of data files, templates, all are here. The course content, the trainer notes are here for this recordings. Case studies about Six Sigma somewhere. So you can download all this stuff, is downloadable. Exam guide is here, pretty much what is the format of the exam. It's all multiple choice questions. So Practically, you can download the exam guide. You get all the knowledge, all the information about the examination. There are like 50 questions, 1 hour exam, 50% passing marks. So out of 50 questions, even if you get 25 right, you're done. Bottom line, that's not a big deal. Exam is not a big deal. So be rest assured about it. Mock test is there, so you can try yourself with this mock test. You get to get a familiarization with the concept, the type of questions. So mock tests you can try out. I would say don't try it in advance. Let's complete it, then you should try out these mock tests. And the final assessment. So you have to request for examination from here. So once we're done with the course, and when you prepared yourself, you want to give the exam, you have to click on this. I'll give you an option to request for exam. So IMC team will get the notification that yes, you want to give the exam. They will assign it. They will approve the exam. So they practically you will be able to give the exam. So this is something which will look like this. So you have to request for, here it says start the exam because it's a mock test, but otherwise it will give you request for exam. Click on that link. You will see that when you access your LMS. So these are certain information. So all the information about your LMS is right here. So quick summary of whatever we discussed. Let me just get rid of this. So these are information which is there in your LMS, so you can definitely try them out whenever it's applicable. You want to go through pre-recorded sessions, your courseware is there, mock test is there, exam, the final exam is going to be taken from there. That's the initial bit of it. Apart from this, there's some extra mock tests which I have created some links. We will go through the Six Sigma journey and there are different phases. We'll be able to talk about them today. There's some mock tests which are created by phases, because this mock test will be mixed, but entire content. But since we keep going through phase by phase, so once we complete something called a defined phase, there is a mock test just to make sure that you're comfortable with the topic. So when you're done the defined phase, try out this mock test. The link is with you. Don't just try it just like that. Let's complete the defined phase. You have the link. Open up this link. You can. It's a simple Google form link. Open up the Google form link. Once you're done with the defined phase, you have the link. Don't have to wait for anyone else. Try it out yourself. See, when you give the answer, you will get the correct answer. Like you get to know which is the answer correct or not. So you can give the exam just to prepare. So we have included that every type of question which is important from defined phases covered here. So you can try out these questions. Similarly, measure phase, analyze phase, improve and control, and some additional questions here. So this is where you have. So I will be sharing this file. I will be sharing this file, entire Excel, and I'll be preparing notes with you all. So this will come in when you download these notes from the Google Drive. So the first link that I shared for Google Drive, where I'll be placing by the end of today, I'll be placing these notes in the Google Drive. You will be able to download all of this, the entire file. So you'll have all the links with you. Is it okay and clear with everyone? I hope there's no confusion.
All good.
Yes, it is clear.
Yes, sir.
Perfect. And last but not the least, during the examination, so I created some calculator. This is where a lot of things will come into play. This calculator, you can use it in your examination also. And this is good enough to solve lots of questions. So we will learn how to create whatever formulas are required. So, but I've compiled all the formulas, all the calculations, which you might come across during the examination or in general, what you should know in one page. So how various statistical calculations are done, sample size calculator. We will see as you go through sigma level calculations and all those, converting defects to sigma back to defect, all the formulas. This sheet is a formula link sheet. So all you got to do is during the examination, put the values and you get your answer. But we will not simply be going by this spreadsheet. You'll know how to calculate what is the formula. So we'll do that. It's just about to compile everything. So it'll serve, it'll help during the exam. So we'll come back and any which is learn all these formulas. But for now, I just wanted to tell you that these are things which we will be starting with. So I guess we're good to go. And I expect everyone to participate in this journey. And let's make it a memorable journey for everyone. I will try my best to make sure that you all gain in terms of like whatever investment that you've done in this training, like for this training, the time is most valuable stuff. So at least on that note, yes, you should not regret that. Yes, you spend time and like it's a weekend. I understand. I truly care about that. So trust. I will try my level best, but I need your help. It can't be. It's not possible. It needs to make it something successful. So I need your cooperation there.
Hi, Shashi. Thank you
Yeah.
for the support. This is Arindam this side.
Yeah.
Sorry to ask you to reiterate on the fact that on the link which you were actually sharing with us, where you are showing all the courses and all, if that particular link can be shared over the chat, that would be kind of you.
The
recordings and everything. No,
this,
not this one. There was this other link where you went in and tried to.
the LMS one.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's like I'm not sure, like whether you got this IMC Institute link, and have you have you signed up anything on this one? This is IMC Institute, and
yeah, I'm in there, but I was not able to get into that particular link where you were.
Did you log in? Like, have you logged in?
Yes. Oh no.
So you have to log in with that ID and password, and accordingly, so whatever course is applicable, just so you have to go to the dashboard there. You log in, it will take you navigate. Let me just. Oops, no, I don't want to play it right now. Let me go back. So here you can, let me just log out.
Okay. Yeah, I have.
Have you been able to log in there? Like, get in there?
Yes.
So this is the page where you simply log in with the ID and password.
Mm-hmm.
You will get to your enroll courses, and you will be able to check, go to your course, whichever course is applicable, you get all the information there. So that's on the part of the LMS part. So yes, by the way, again, so do keep the, so these links that we've talked about, when you download it from the Google Drive, like once it leaves this notes. So all in all, please do keep these two links handy, one for the recording, one for these. So I'll resharing this link just to make sure final in case. I hope the rest everything can still be done. At least you get my notes, you will get everything, all the links in this file. So do keep this link handy.
Sure.
If you have this link handy, you will get all the note links by default. So keep this, at least list this link handy. All right.
Thank you, sir.
Perfect, sir. So let's get started. So first thing first, let's talk about Lean Six Sigma. Now, so we talk about Lean Six Sigma. There are two different like process improvement methodologies. They are very, very different from each other, but they're used together. Nowadays, we don't call as Lean experts or Six Sigma experts. There was a time, yes, people were either Lean experts or Six Sigma. But when you use Lean alone, it will struggle. When you use Six Sigma alone, it will struggle. Yes, it does give you benefit, but not the kind of benefit it's capable of. When you use them together, you will see the real benefit. So people have understood that there are limitations with both of them. And when you bring them together, they will complement each other. So yes, nowadays we don't learn only Lean or Six Sigma, but there are two different methods. They all, Lean and Six Sigma, are implemented at the same time in the projects. We'll know. Today's topic is more about the basic introduction, the yellow belt. Well, one thing is very important to talk about before we talk about anything else. Any which is we'll talk about belts, but big question generally comes in, well, what portion have you covered in terms of yellow belt or green belt? You're going for a master's class. So let me cut the long story short, because generally this is a marketing gimmick. So okay, hypothetically assume that this entire zone is an entire Six Sigma content that you have to learn. This entire thing is black belt. Everything from the beginning, 0% to 100% is your black belt course. If I just teach you the initial part, there's like say 5% of it, you can say you are a yellow belt. Initial part is a yellow belt, like 5% of it. If I go and teach up to 60% of this, it is about green belt, which includes green belt will by default include yellow belt. So when somebody is taking just a green belt training, you're by default covering up the yellow belt content. But since you are going through a complete black belt, so you're learning yellow belt, green belt, black belt, and it's all till the end. So practically you're learning every other belt. So no need of taking any other belts. So you have gone through it. So it's marketing gimmick. So if I make you go through a yellow belt first, take up a yellow belt training, then again you go for a green belt, you repeat the yellow belt content once again. And then you take up a black belt, so you repeat yellow belt, green belt, and then you go to the black belt. So there's no fun in kind of making you do the same thing twice and thrice. So repetition is all what you will be doing. So while you're learning this, you're covering all the belts by default. So when would be the right time to give you, if people are going to give their yellow belt exam or a green belt exam, it will only happen after the 10th session. When the 10th session is over, you are in the best position to give. If you're giving a yellow belt, then give you a yellow belt. If it's a green belt, depending on what kind of package you've taken, so then you give a green belt exam. Or some people would have just taken a black belt, then you can simply give you a black belt. So, but if you've taken a green belt and black belt kind of package, you do a green belt first and then you give a black belt. It will only happen after we have done with the 30 hours program today. So that's what the right time will be, only after we completed the entire thing, because all the contents are spread out all across from first day till the 10th day. Okay. So starting with the lean part, today's topic is more about the yellow belt. Not so yellow belt portion is going to get covered, like given the whatever we want to cover today. Lean is plain simple definition, identification and elimination of waste from the process to increase efficiency. Increase efficiency without compromising on the quality of product service. Whichever industry, it doesn't matter. We would like to improve the efficiency of the process, and we'd like to understand what do you mean by efficiency of the process. Definitely, yes. What is lean in general? So I have a process which has multiple process steps, and at the end of say this 5 steps, I have my product delivered to the customer, or I have my services delivered to the customer. Hypothetically, it takes me 12 days time to complete this entire process. So all these steps must be completed. Like as a process, we perform all these process steps, and then we have a product or a service. Now, what lean says that use your lean knowledge, which we haven't discussed anything yet. Apply the lean knowledge and then try to see which of these process steps has waste in it. Like, so which of this process step can be called as a waste? As per definition of lean, figure out, is there a process step which is a waste? Say hypothetically, I figured out this C step is a waste as per lean. So I have applied my lean knowledge to see, is A a waste? Is B a waste? Now, when I applied it for C, yes, that qualifies to be called as a waste as per lean. Now, what do? I have identified a waste in the system using my lean knowledge. What I do is simply cut down the waste. My process looks much shorter and I get the same product in 10 days time. This is simple. In simple terms, this is lean. Trust, it cannot be made any difficult than this. Lean is as simple as this. It's not complicated, it's not difficult, but if we make it difficult, it's us who is making it difficult. It is not difficult. In reality, you have certain lean principles, you have certain lean logics. Go and check out your process from the beginning till the end and just try to apply the lean knowledge and see, does it qualify every process step? Does it qualify to be called as a waste as per lean? Well, you try to figure out and identify first waste. When you identify it, you simply go about eliminating it. This is lean. Is your customer going to be excited to get the product or services sooner? Absolutely, yes, customer is happy. Are you happy as a company? You are working less. You've saved some money, time, effort, resources. Now you're no longer doing the step number C is not been done. You are saving on this. Your process efficiency has increased, has been optimized. So as a company, you are happy as well. So customer happy, you happy, it's a win-win situation. Your efficiency has improved in terms of cost, time, efforts, resources, raw material, and so on and so forth. Anything that you were spending in that step number C, now you're not doing that. Your process efficiency has got better. When we talk about lean, remember lean is all about speed of the process. Simply goes with logic. Can you deliver the product or service faster? Simple logic. Lean is all about time. It's all about time. Can you deliver it faster? So the core concept of lean is always going to be about time. Can you cut short the time? I need to reduce the time in my process. 12 days to 10 days, 12 days to 9 days, but it's all about time reduction. The core purpose is to reduce the time, but how would you reduce the time? Remember one thing, while you want to cut down time, which is beneficial for you and the client, the customer, I cannot compromise the quality. So it doesn't mean that you want to implement lean, so you will compromise the quality. No. The product quality, service quality cannot be compromised. So whatever quality customers enjoying at 12 days should remain same. You cannot change that. Lean is all about time. How do you reduce it? It's simple logic. The lean part will only come into play when you apply the lean knowledge to find out waste in the system. When you remove the waste, you will be doing less work and your process will become faster. Core logic of lean is applying the lean knowledge. So when you apply lean, the core tool of lean is observation. You look at your process, you observe the process, apply the lean knowledge, and every single step is criticized to understand, is it a waste as per lean or not? So all you do is observe your process and find out, is this process step a waste as per lean? Simple. You apply your lean knowledge and see, is it a waste? In lean, we fix what we see. So it's only visual issues can be fixed as per lean. Whatever you see, you go to your process, whether it's a manufacturing production line or it's a service delivery. Bottom line, I will start looking at my every process step and try to fix the process which is visible to me. It's visible based. This is only going to fix what is visible. So challenges which are visible, which do not seem right as per lean, you will be able to fix that with lean. Very commonsensical, very simple stuff. I'll be playing a quick short video. We haven't discussed anything about lean, but let's have a quick look at it. Do you really know lean or not? And answer to the entire question is yes, we already know what is lean. Because it's lean is commonsensical, lean is applied by everyone in personal lives, professional lives. We already have been doing it. Yes, we may not be doing it with a purpose. We may not be doing it in a structured manner. But after now having a knowledge of lean, we will start implementing lean in a structured manner. We'll start quantifying the benefits. So before I implemented lean and after I implemented lean, this is the change. When you measure something, you improve it. Let's have a quick look at it. My purpose is to deliver the product or service to the customer faster. We track every single step, every single step. We also note down the time it takes for every single step, how many people are involved in every single step. Every single thing has been audited, noted, observed.
The toaster on the right tends to burn the toast.
And this is eating up time.
want that toast plain?
No. Hey, about the,
I got it.
about the,
I got it.
really, about the butter.
No, I got it.
Rach, no, really, about the butter.
Okay, here you go.
Rach, one piece would have been plenty. I really wanted jelly on it.
All right, so can we see certain issues in this process? We had to serve the customer faster. Any suggestions?
Yeah. So there was no organized manner. So like she went up and down quite a number of times, which could have been avoided.
Absolutely.
And the other part was not listening. So
Absolutely.
listening skills.
Yes. She should have understood the customer requirement. I mean, she served what she wanted. And she should have
Exactly,
listened
which
to the
could
customer.
have eradicated the number of repeated steps that she was doing.
Absolutely, yes. Anything else? We have customer requirement. Apart from that, we talk about the unnecessary movement, motion movement happened. What else could have been done? The equipment, yes, the proper provisioning. So things could have been done parallelly. Yeah, so things could have been, so 5S was completely missing. We'll discuss that 5S part. Things could have, a lot of things could have been avoided. Yes, waiting could have been avoided. Let's see, things, if we could have planned it. Plus, this is a very good process. We have seen organizations with absolutely horrible. This is, I would say, a very good process. And in reality, you'll see even worse situation. Things are absolutely out of place, and nobody seems to be realizing that this is happening again and again, again and again. Those thanks for the comments. Yes, that's these things were definitely there. So it's all that we know lean? 100% yes. When we will start discussing about lean, we'll understand the terminology. But is it something new you will be learning? No, these are basic stuff. Whatever you just mentioned now, probably we have not been able to tag it properly with a proper lean nomenclature. But we all have been using lean. It's not a new topic. Just I can't teach you anything new here. Lean is commonsensical. Lean is known by everyone, practiced by everyone. Yes, not in an organized manner, not on a proper basis. But yes, what we will be able to start using is tagged. We can identify which type of activity can be called as a waste, why that is a waste, all those things. But it'll have a more structured approach. We'll have the understanding. So being very honest, in reality, when people talk about lean, we don't get fascinated. Being very honest, and talk about the ground level reality, because there's nothing new to learn. There's nothing so exciting. Well, it's very boring, absolutely very boring, very simple, no excitement about lean. Lean is an operations job. Lean is not a project. So people who call lean as a project, I have a serious disconnect with them. Lean can never ever be called as project, because people who have a PMP background, by definition of project, what it means that is, first of all, it's temporary. First definition of a project. If you pick up a PMP syllabus, the first definition of a lean project is temporary. Lean is never temporary. Lean is permanent. Lean is operations. You have to do the same boring task every day without fail. You go to work, 9 to 5 kind of job. Yes, you do all day long. That's operations job. Project is meant for a purpose. It will start, it will end. It will always be done. Lean is a hygiene factor. You cannot choose not to have lean. Lean is non-negotiable. You have to, even if you don't like it, if it's a repetitive process, there's nothing new to learn, you still will be applying lean. Lean is non-negotiable. Well, companies which have great lean culture, that's where you will see Six Sigma will show its true color. Real impact of Six Sigma can be seen when the companies have good lean culture. Foundation is always laid down by lean. The foundation on which Six Sigma actually performs is lean. So even if you don't like it, it's not exciting. Well, Six Sigma is very exciting. It has got graph, charts, analysis, a lot of new things to learn. So we are excited about it. But lean, it's common. We already know it. What's so big deal about it? Well, these things are already known. Yes, now we're talking about terminologies, but what's else? Nothing else. Honestly, that's where the missing link is. We have to understand the answers to most of the complex situation will always come from simple solutions. So foundation has to be strong enough for you to lay the pillars of Six Sigma. Six Sigma stands on the foundation of lean. So you just cannot compromise on lean. Six Sigma is a project. It's a choice. Whether you want to do a Six Sigma project or not, your choice. Lean is not a choice. You have to have Six Lean in your organization. So on a simple note, lean is non-negotiable. Not exciting, very boring, but you have to do it. This is foundation. You just cannot ignore it. It's a small topic. We will be having one complete day for lean. So one complete session is for lean. It's not a broad topic, but we'll try to understand how to start a lean implementation and practically, now I wouldn't say end it, but because it's a cycle, it's a loop. So we'll get into lean topics one single day, and pretty much we'll be able to cover up all the things which we have to cover from lean perspective. Yes, Mr. Nurad.
Yeah, actually, I have a question regarding the operation process. Just like how do we check that we can eliminate these steps by using a document or by using a video, or how we can eliminate that?
We observe the process and we apply the certain conditions based on which we categorize that these activities are called a waste. So we'll apply that logic. Well, does it fit in? There are certain categories of waste. We call it as 8 types of waste in the system. So which we generally refer. We'll discuss this at a later stage, which we call as Tim Woods. Yes, Tim Woods. So Tim Woods are the 8 different types of waste. 8 types of waste. Anyone wants to check out in advance, you can definitely Google up or check out YouTube videos. You get tons of information. These are 8 different categories. So when you understand what you mean by T, what do you mean by I, what do you mean by M, basically there are 8 different types of categories. So whenever you go and observe your process, you start from the beginning till the end, whichever process, whether it's manufacturing, service, it doesn't matter. They are process steps, and all those process steps will be tested. Well, is there a, like TIMOD stands for, okay, let me kind of write it down: transportation, inventory, motion, waiting, overproduction, overprocessing, defects, and skills. So 8 waste. At every process step, you have to find out this 8 waste. Is this waste happening? So we'll get into details of it. So if any process step falls into any of these 8 categories, you will identify that as a waste. So we'll get to do a deep dive on lean part. We'll understand that lean is a big, like, let me quickly show it to you. So we'll understand the entire lean part as a different, there are 5 lean principles we'll be covering up. We'll look into value stream mapping, which is where we will identify the waste we plot. This is what we will be getting into. This is pure how we go about implementing lean, finding the waste. So we'll do that activity to understand how this entire thing is like you go with a lean implementation. So, but today's like initial bit is more about getting the basics right, so that we have understanding right to before we get into the like future topics. So this is basically, it's just about observation. You use your lean knowledge, apply the clean knowledge, and identify and criticize every step. Is it a waste? Is it any of these 8 waste happening? Does it say, is this step number A false? Does it fall into any of these categories? Yes or no? No. Okay, then it's a good activity. Then step number B, does it fall into any category? Yes or no? So we will have to apply a lean knowledge. So we'll discuss that in detail at a later stage. But all in all, it's simply based on observation. You go to your process, start observing the process first. Start from the beginning, go till the end. Very, very time consuming, very tedious process, but that's what you do. You observe your process. The core principle is lean, is observation. Then apply your lean knowledge. After you observe, then figure out waste in this. The first job is to identify. When you identify, elimination is an ongoing process. Does it answer your question? Any which will cover this in detail, but at a later stage. Is it okay, Mr. Sir?
Yeah, thank you very much.
Perfect. Coming to Six Sigma. Well, Six Sigma is a different ballgame, absolutely different, way too different from this one. It is statistical approach, reduce variation. When I say variation, I will definitely mention the effect here. So we will have to keep in mind during job interview, if we are talking about, like generally people say, well, Six Sigma improves the quality of the process. That's 100% right. It's a statistical approach to reduce variation to increase effectiveness. Now, first, let's kind of understand one thing for sure. If your answer doesn't have the word variation, although you might have mentioned that statistical approach is a data-driven approach to reduce the defects in the process, all fine, it's 100% correct, but still it will be considered as incomplete. Remember, my purpose is to give you those answers which will help you crack the interview, not to give you, like, see, there is no difference in the, well, you write variation, you write defect, meaning is the same. But when you're sitting through a job interview, the person who's sitting in front of you has a checklist and a certain words he or she is looking for. If you don't give the required words, it's incomplete. Although you're right, but it's incomplete. Variation is a must in the definition of Six Sigma, because the foundation of Six Sigma is just variation. We'll talk about that, but let's understand first term, effectiveness. What do you mean by effectiveness? A fancy jargon. This is nothing other than the quality percentage. So when we say it improves quality, yes, you're right about that. It improves quality to increase the quality percentage of your process. We're talking about effectiveness. Big question is how? By data-driven approach. First of all, you reduce the defect, which is variation. You reduce the defect. When the defect goes down, your quality improves. Obviously, when the defect increases, quality reduces. When the defect goes down, quality improves. We have to focus on the statistical part. It's a data-driven approach. Globally, everyone is moving towards data. Well, we talk about machine learning, artificial intelligence, you talk about robotic process automation, and God knows what not. Practically, we are getting to every possible stream. Data is what everyone wants. Everyone wants to capture data, understand data, analyze data, and take the business decisions. You install one application in your mobile phone. This application wants to access your contacts, your messages, your images, every possible thing. Why? Because it's understood by everyone by now that the new oil is data. Oil has been replaced with it. The core factor was always oil, right? The center point, like, which was always oil. Now the concept has deviated from there, and this more priority has been is data, because who will have data and control over data will rule the world going forward. That's how it's trending. So Six Sigma goes with a simple logic of data-driven approach. Let's understand this variation part so that we're clear about what is variation. A client of mine gave me an order to manufacture, say, a whiteboard marker. If somebody has gone through my white yellow belt training, might have. So this day one, sorry about that. we're talking about same stuff. So the marker length is 5.5 inches. That's what is demand of the customer. I tell my team, well, you have to manufacture 5.5 inches marker. Now they start manufacturing. The manufacturer says some markers, which was supposed to be 5.5, and this is what we get. Okay, that's what we have. Say, let me make it some 5.5. We can't do that bad. Couple of 5.5 here also. That's it. Now, is this 5.5? No, that's a variation from 5.5. My target was 5.5. It's higher than that. So it's a higher variation on the higher side. It's a defect. Is this 5.5? No, that's a variation from 5.5. It's less than 5.5. This is less than 5.5. That's also a defect. Variation, this is fine. This is variation on lesser side, variation on higher side, variation on lesser side. So whether it's more or less, it's a variation. Your target was 5.5. You should have manufactured 5.5. Anything more or less is a variation. And that's what customer will treat as a defect. So in the eyes of customer, everything is defect, whether it's plus or minus. What is asked, you should deliver this. Now, given that I would like to fix this problem, I discuss with my team, and I get the team of experts together to solve this problem. And fortunately, yes, we had good experts. We discussed, we came up with some strategy, we did some bit of analysis, high level, and used our lean knowledge also. And we were able to fix this problem. Now we were making more of 5.5. After a month or so, the problem resurfaced again. Now again, process started creating defects. Well, we couldn't figure out why. So we again got together, we again came up with a new strategy to counter that problem. So we again implemented a new strategy to fix the challenge. The problem got solved, but after 10-15 days, the problem resurfaced again. Well, now nobody has a clue what to do because we tried everything that we knew. Well, we got a temporary relief, but that was just temporary. The problem keeps resurfacing. I don't know why. Well, I have no more idea. I've used my experience, my knowledge, my education, everything. All experts have got to a standstill stage situation where we have no clue what needs to be done. What it tells me is time for Six Sigma. So remember one thing, Six Sigma is never your first choice. It's always last. You must, I guess somebody's mic is on. I would request, please keep yourself on mute. Okay. You must try all possible sources, including lean. Visual, whatever you could see and try and so use whatever you don't take out Six Sigma for every simple thing. So it's when you try, should ever including lean, everything that you could have done. Yes, you applied your expertise, your experience, knowledge, everything, including the lean part of it. Now, still it doesn't get solved. So when you've got to a situation, the problem resurfaces. That means we are dealing with a problem, which is the root cause is not superficial. It's something which we're trying to solve. It's the real root cause. See, it's like somebody has a, okay, let's try to take it this way. Somebody comes to the doctor and says, well, I have got fever. The doctor gives a medicine of paracetamol, which is used for curing the, like bringing down the temperature. So doctor gives a medicine of paracetamol, the fever comes down. The problem resurfaces again. Again, you have a fever. So you take another pill of paracetamol, the fever comes down. Again, it comes back. Again, you take a fever. You are treating the symptom. You're not treating the problem. Why is the fever coming? Is because of an infection. So you got to, and unless you cure the infection will recreate the fever, because paracetamol is just going to lower down the temperature. The core purpose of paracetamol is to cure the symptom. Symptom is high fever, bring the fever down. That's it. But the problem is still there, which is causing the fever, is the infection. So unless I cure the infection, the problem will resurface, and problem is somewhere down, not what we see. What we experience is the problem, but what is known to us, but the real root cause is the infection. And I can't give you any medicine like that, because this infection could be of different types. So I could have a bacterial infection, but that I have to give antibiotic. Somebody has a viral infection, I have to give antiviral medicine. Somebody has a like a fungal infection, I have to give antifungal medicine. Bottom line, every infection can cause fever, but which type of infection, if I don't know, I can't give you the real medicine. So understanding this concept is very important, because Six Sigma goes with the same approach. It talks about when you have tried, tested, and failed, you must have tried everything. And if you have failed, that's when you use Six Sigma, because here you will experience problem, but can't explain why. I have tried, tested everything. I am facing this challenge. This problem resurfaces every time, but I don't know what to do. So I've exhausted all my sources. That's when it tells me that the real root cause is not evident. If I don't know what's the problem, what medicine would I give it to you? Simple as that. I need to know the problem to give you the solution. So if I don't know where is the real root cause, it's somewhere deep down. It's not superficial. And then since it's not visible to me, I can't even find this with lean, because what is visible to me, I can solve it. What's not visible to me, sorry, I can't. So this is a situation where we experience a problem. We continue to get a problem and we experience the pain, but I can't tell you why. That's when you need Six Sigma to go deeper into data and figure out why this is happening. So Six Sigma is an absolutely different ball game altogether. It's not like visual stuff. It's a data-driven approach. I will have some data collected like this about my process data. I will apply my statistical testing, and with the help of statistical test, I will be able to figure out exactly what is causing the problem. When you know exactly what is causing the problem, well, job done. Every industry has experts like you. If I tell you the problem, you will give me the solution. Everyone has experts like you. So when I give you a problem related to industry, well, this is what is happening. You can give me a solution. The real problem here is we don't know what to ask our experts, what to solve. That's when we need Six Sigma. So we will have to use Six Sigma judiciously, not for every simple thing. Now, let's take a quick example just to kind of understand this better. Like if anyone knows what is the quality percentage at Six Sigma level, if my process is working at Six Sigma level, anyone knows how much is the quality percentage?
99.99966%.
Perfect. You're right about that. 99.99966%. Please remember this value because it's very important. Why? Because it's related to Six Sigma. So job interview, in general, the person who will be the first round of interview, not the final ones. In technical round, nobody would ask you these questions. Technical round, there'll be more technical questions, a little more difficult questions about statistics, about the analysis that you would have done, what could have, those would be complicated questions. So no, it won't be complicated by then, but it'll be more meaningful. These one-liner questions will generally come in the first round of interview. And the ones who are taking your interview, they are not experts of Six Sigma. So they will have just one-liner kind of questions, which they would generally ask, like definition of lean, what does Six Sigma work on? Efficiency or effectiveness? You should know Six Sigma improves effectiveness. They will generally ask you questions like this. What does lean work on? Efficiency or effectiveness? Got to understand lean is about efficiency, Six Sigma is about effectiveness. Here you optimize the process. Here you improve the quality. Effectiveness is the quality part. So it's one-liner. Since this is associated with Six Sigma, you got to memorize this percentage. Six Sigma in terms of defect. If my process is working at a Six Sigma level, what is my defect rate? It's generally, thanks, we have answer. Somebody did share 3.4 DPMO. I guess somebody did share that. Yes, Rashi has mentioned 3.4 DPMO. So perfect, that's correct. 3.4 DPMO. What does this mean? 3.4 defect per million opportunity. What does it mean? Let's see. If my process is working with at 99.99966% quality, the maximum probability of making a defect is just 3.4 defects in 1 million. What it means, if I was manufacturing 1 million marker, the maximum probability of making a defective marker is just 3.4. 3.4 defective markers in 1 million, which is 6 zeros, 3, 4, 5, 6. If I manufacture 1 million marker, the maximum probability of having a defective marker is just 3.4 defective markers. It's a phenomenal improvement in the quality. If you add Six Sigma process, again, this number has to be memorized for sure. 3.4 DPMO is what you have to memorize. Now, apart from this, it's important to understand how good is the Six Sigma performance. So how good is Six Sigma level? Let's figure this out. If I talk about a process quality of 90%, 99% rather, is it a good quality percentage or bad quality percentage? Generally, 99%, would you consider is a good or bad one? Mr. Abdullah says bad. Anyone else? Generally good. General understanding is 99% is good one. If I apply the same logic here for the markers, let's try to understand. If 99% quality means the good quality markers. So quality markers, my quality markers, which are like I say pass percentage, would be 99 markers will be good out of 100. That was 99% quality means if I manufacture 100 markers, 99 markers would be perfect. Fail percentage will be 1 out of 100. That means 99% quality. If I manufacture 100, 1 will be bad, 99 will be good. That's what the general understanding of 99% quality means. Now, with the same logic, let's try to see if I'm working with the same 99% quality, how many defective markers will I make in 1 million? 4, 5, 6. If I manufacture 1 million marker and my quality is 99%, if I make 1 defective marker in 100, how many defective markers will I make in 1 million?
10,000.
10,000.
Perfect. That is 10,000. you will be making, if your process quality is 99%. So pretty much if your process quality is 99%, your fail rate is 1 out of 100. So if you do this, select, cancel this 4 zeros, cancel this 4 zeros, it is 1 out of 100. Same thing. If you make 1 error out of 100, then you'll make 10,000 errors out of 1 million. This is the quality at 99%. You know what we're comparing it with? Six Sigma. This is what we're talking about. This is 2 worlds apart. Gone are those days when we used to call it as Six Sigma as the phenomenal, like a 99% as great quality. Today we will be history if we're working with 99%. It's bad. It's bad and really bad. This current world, like the current, it's cutthroat competition is going on. If you give so many defects to the customer will switch you, because we all are options to the customer today. So customer wants something, they have plenty of choices. We are all options, whether you're manufacturer or your service provider, doesn't matter. If you're living with this kind of defect rate, well, we are living dangerously, will soon be wiped out. We will be history. That was happened with big brands like Nokia, we had BlackBerry and all those. These companies could not understand. They are giants, they had monopoly, but they could not understand the changing dynamics of the market. This market is unforgiving. This is very ruthless in terms of quality. So it was a choice whether you want to do a Six Sigma or not. Now, the industry-wise, the management, the senior management has understood that if you have to become a market leader, you have to go to a zero defect concept. Now, obviously, zero defect is not possible, never ever. It's just good to say zero defect. Well, there's never ever going to be having a zero defect, but we get closest possible to zero defect concept. So the concept is zero defect. So that we want to say that we have minimum almost zero defect. And this is almost a zero defect. If you have 3.4 defects in 1 million, it's almost like a zero defect. You don't have a choice. It's the need of the hour. And hence, globally, all senior management is trying to switch their process to a level of Six Sigma. That's the need of us. So not a choice anymore. It was a choice at one point in time. To survive and to be a market leader, you have to have at least Six Sigma level performance to be a market leader. Now, when we talk about Six Sigma, well, let's understand what do we mean by Sigma level. When I say Six Sigma, what do we mean by Sigma level? Basically, when we talk about Sigma level, it's a defect measuring scale. It's a weird definition. It doesn't measure how good you're doing. It measures how bad you're doing. It's a defect measuring scale. So it measures how many defects would you make. That's what it is. Sigma level is a defect measuring scale. We have a 0 Sigma, we have 1 Sigma, we have 2 Sigma, 3 Sigma, 4 Sigma, 5 Sigma, 6 Sigma. 7 Sigma, 8 Sigma. It's a scale. It's a scale which just measures the defect. It can go on and on, never end it. Bottom line, there's no end to it. It's a scale. Scale to measure defect. That's it. Do we have negative? Absolutely yes. -1 Sigma, -2 Sigma, -3 Sigma. It goes on both the sides. It's a scale of measurement, like you have general scales for everything. This scale measures the defect rate. That's it. Now, let's understand how do we relate with the scale. When you say Six Sigma, well, at Six Sigma, we know already it's 3 point. If your organization is performing at Six Sigma level, your defect rate will be 10 to the power 6, which is 3.4 defects in 1 million. That's what we know as Six Sigma. This is standard for everyone. Everyone wants to get to this level. This is standard, no doubt about it. That's what we learn in Six Sigma course. Big question is, can you get better than Six Sigma? Or the industry is working at a higher Sigma than Six Sigma, or it is the best can we get? Yes. Arvind says yes. Any industry that comes to your mind, which is operating at a higher Sigma than Six Sigma?
Aviation, pharma.
Aviation, pharmaceutical, your NASA, the space program, nuclear reactors. So these are critical industries. Well, they cannot work with Six Sigma. Six Sigma is a horrible Sigma, very, very bad Sigma level for these industries. These are critical industries. You cannot live with Six Sigma in this one. Well, just think about a situation. Aviation, I'm talking about just the air traffic control, not the airport. Airport, there's so many, so there's hundreds of Sigma level in every organization. There's no organization is a Six Sigma organization. Every KPI, everything that you want to improve, you can calculate sigma level for that. So at an airport, you have a baggage control, you have ticketing, the waiting time, the customers, everything that you want to improve, you can calculate sigma level. So here, when we talk about aviation, I'm talking about air traffic control. That's operating around 12 sigma. Well, if you think that we operate at 6 sigma in air traffic control, what it means that 1 million flights that will take off, 3.4 might crash. That's how bad it is. So, well, these industries cannot afford it. These are critical industries. You cannot afford a defect here because there's so much, like so many lives are at stake. These are critical ones. Why can't we just make a vaccine and give it to everyone? So many people can die with one wrong vaccine. So here, these are critical industries. You cannot afford to have like defects. You have to minimize the defect even beyond 6 sigma. It's bad. 6 sigma is horrible for them, but these are selective industries. Very, very rare. If your industry falls into that kind of critical factor, obviously you have to increase it beyond 6 sigma, but still 6 sigma is standard. And we got to understand why. When the industry is working at higher sigma, then why we're learning 6 sigma course? We'll understand that, why it's standard. So first of all, higher sigma level is good. That's what we've got to understand. As your sigma level increases, your process performance is better. You have lesser. We have lesser defects at higher sigma level. If defects reduces, sigma level goes up. That's the basic concept you want to keep in mind. So then why is 6 sigma the standard? Because you may be able to improve the process with project management tools and techniques, with quality management tools and techniques, with statistics, using the 6 sigma statistics part. Bottom line, we'll use all those tools and techniques and improve like maximum generally up to a level of 6 sigma. Beyond this, it's almost impossible to reduce any human error. Human error is bound to happen. So yes, if your industry is critical, you have to automate it. Human errors will always happen. So beyond 6 sigma, you generally need automation. Automation will take your process to an absolutely phenomenal. So these all are industries based on automation. You have to improve a process with normal process improvement steps and all the 6 sigma stuff. Quality management statistics will help you sustain and get to you're at 6 sigma, your market data, but not in these industries. You have to go for a higher sigma level. You have to improve it. And how do you improve it? Well, by implementing automation, which will take your process to an absolute human level, because human errors needs to be eliminated any which ways for these critical industries. So for every other industry, 6 sigma happens to be the primary choice. Why we are talking about still like us when they say 6 sigma? Do you think companies would like to go beyond 6 sigma? I'd say 99% of the companies will not be interested to go beyond 6 sigma. Let's talk about it. This marker, if this company is able to get to a level of 6 sigma with normal improvement, no automation, and this company is now manufacturing 1 million marker, and the maximum defective marker this company has is 3.4. Do you think this company will look for automation and would invest millions of dollars to automate the process? Does it make business sense? Millions of dollars to automate? No. This company would never want to do that. What is the cost of defect here? 3.4 markers. What's the cost of this marker? If I end up automating, what I'll do, I'll save the cost. But what's the cost of marker? Nothing. But the cost of the automation will be huge. So it does not make business sense. If I get to even forget about 6 sigma, even if I get to 5 sigma, I'll say I'm done. I'm happy, more than happy. It's absolutely nothing. So most of the industries will fall into this zone. For them, up to a level of 6 sigma, if you get it any which ways, no one is close to you. Beyond, I don't want to. Doesn't make business sense. Up to level 6 sigma, yes, I can do with more normal improvement without heavy investment. Why not 6 sigma? Beyond this, I choose not to go beyond 6 sigma. That's a choice. This does not make business sense. Well, on the contrary, we've got to keep in mind, like if your defects increases, sigma level drops. It's inverse. It's inverse. Like so, if defect goes down, sigma goes up. If defects increases, sigma drops. So so technically, if your process has a 50% defect rate, you will be at 0 sigma. Do you have to memorize this? No. We'll have simple formulas. We'll calculate all of it. We'll understand how to do it. Bottom line, just keep this in mind. If your defect percentage is greater than 50%, sigma level will be negative. If it's more than 50%, it will be negative sigma level. Negative. Now, we have simple formulas in everyone's Excel. We will learn sigma level calculation through multiple ways: manual method, formula-based method, MINITAB-based method, every possible method, and you have to know every possible method. There's no option to choose, well, I only would learn one method. No, you as a black belt, you have to have every possible information, how to calculate sigma level. Given it's just the beginning, we can't get into all those details to start with right now, but I will still be able, I'll be giving you one of the formula, which will be, we can't get to explanation because for that we have to have some background. So we'll cover that up later. But for now, just to start with, I'll give you a quick formula so that we know how it's simple. It's one of the simplest methods. So I'm just going to use that for now. If somebody gives you a defect rate and wants to calculate sigma level. So there are two types of sigma levels we will come across: Z for sigma, LT for long term. There's a long term sigma vector, and there's a short term sigma called Z for sigma, ST for short term or current sigma level. Now, we can't get into the discussion right now what is long term and short term practically, because that is for that even we have to have some background. So we will get to that part later. But yes, calculation will remain the same. Only thing which will be left is explanation. We'll get to know. This is the actual sigma level, which is calculated. We will also understand why actual this is used for communication and reporting. So whenever people talk about sigma level, they always use current sigma level. For communication reporting, we always use this one. Nobody talks in the language of long-term sigma. It's always the current sigma level. So, but by the way, this is the actual one. This is the actual sigma level, but unfortunately not used for communication. All the reports, all the communication, when people talk about sigma level, they only talk about current sigma. Let's see how it's calculated. I'll leave the formula here. And there are multiple things to cover up, but just the beginning. So we'll understand meaning of formula later. Well, not right now. The effect divided by total. I'll give you long term, and long term plus a fixed value of 1.5 will give you short term sigma. Why 1.5? Also that has a justification, but early for now. So everything, I would not give you any jargon as saying like, you believe me. No, there's nothing to believe that way. Should not believe anyone. Like forget about me also. Well, why would you believe me? One has to have a validation. We have to understand what is the logic of this 1.5. Why are you adding 1.5? All those things we will discuss. So at no point in time I will say, well, just believe me because I say so. No, there has to be logical reason. So we'll cover up everything. I don't want to believe, and you have to get in the habit of questioning something. So the question has to be done. So but at a later stage, not right now. Let's take us some random numbers and find out sigma level for anything. Say, for example, I have 124 defects, any random number out of, say, some numbers. These many parts I audited, transactions I audited. Audit happened. These are the defects found. Norms in V. 1 minus. What is my defect rate? 124 out of 656521. Well, that's what it is. That's my long-term sigma. I will add 1.5 to this long-term and say, well, when we did this audit, I got 124 defects out of whatever this value is. My process sigma level, the current sigma level is 5.05 sigma. That will be used for communication and reporting. I'd say the original is this. We will understand why, but this is always going to be useful. Let's see 6 sigma. 3.4 defects in 1 million. We'll say 6 sigma is 3.4 DPMO. So let's validate it. Non-single 1 minus 3.4 defects out of 1 million. 10 to the power 6 plus 1.5. Look at this, it is 6 sigma. So whenever we say 3.4 DPMO, it's 6 sigma. That's what it is, 6 sigma. We never say 4.5, but actual sigma is 4.5. We'll get to understand why part is later, but as it's early. Let's say I'm traveling to my office and I would like to calculate my attendance, my office reporting time sigma level. For 30 days, I tracked my office reporting time and I was late 2 days. I was late. Out of 30 days. What's my sigma level for office reporting time? Well, it's simple. All you need is defect rate. Who cares what the value is? So 2 out of 30. That's what you have. And plus 1.5 will give me office reporting time sigma level is 3 sigma. My attendance, what do we call this? But all you need to have is defect and you convert this. Let's take a negative one. Let's for a moment say I have say 65% defect rate, more than 50%. Just let's say you can have any percentage, doesn't matter. Norm simply 1 minus 65 out of 100, 65% minus, look at this negative sign, but will be reported as 1.11 sigma. That's what it is. This is real sigma. We'll get to the understanding later. We'll see formula will still remain the same. All which will be changing is the understanding, clarity. What do you mean by long term? What do you mean by short term? What do you mean by this formula? Why are we adding 1.5? We'll have all that clarity. It has to be done. And by the way, as I said, there are calculators. So these you could get questions in exam about calculating sigma. The formula will still remain same. And that's why I said there are calculators here. Defects to sigma, sigma back to defect. Well, we'll for now, let's say 45 defects out of some numbers. Same formula is applied here. So same non-summary formula is applied here. So all these calculators will end up creating, will not be dependent on a template, but yes, you can use it for now. We're definitely doing exam. Yes, Amit, please go ahead.
Yeah, hi sir.
Yeah.
Just one understanding need to know on this actual sigma and short-term sigma. What I understand with this complete scenario, like whenever we need to calculate this sigma, just like you have calculated one example, 124 defects out of 6,56,000. So your short-term sigma level is 5.05 and long-term is 3.5. It does exactly means right now we are at 5 and we have to reach at 3.5 something, or my understanding is incorrect?
We'll drop to this one. We'll drop from here. We'll drop to this sigma. Our sigma level will lose sigma level. There's a time of like the concept was like diminishing returns. So my process current sigma is this, which will drop to this level. Actual will drop. So our sigma level is this, and will drop to this level. This is for this is for short-term period. So just another term add to this is a short-term period. This is for long-term period, sustainable long-term period sigma level. This is reality. This is reality because over a period of long term, how I have maintained and sustained sigma level. This one. This is a very short-term period. We'll understand during the project. We always use this. This will come into like this will be the reality after some time, after a year's time. Then we start looking into all this stuff. We'll get into that part of calculation. So we'll use MINITAB and we'll use, there are multiple ways of calculating sigma level. I placed this file in your shared drive as well. Let's make quickly show it to you. So there are multiple ways, not one, and you have to know all possible methods. Black belts cannot see if somebody has done a green belt, you still have somebody to look up to as a green. I can talk to black belt, but black belt is the one who's a senior most guy. Practically, technically, you will be asked, you should know everything. So you can't have a area of weakness where you can't say, well, expose yourself that I don't know. Let's quickly have a look at so we will be doing sigma level calculation through MINITAB. This is again long term, short term, all that. So this is MINITAB based calculation. So this gives you long term, short term, all that calculation we'll do it using MINITAB, and manually also we'll cover it up. So formulas are there. MINITAB on this file is there in the shared drive, the Google Drive I've shared. It's there. So all in all, it's just a beginning. We're just trying to make sure the concept is rock solid and clear. Well, what is lean? Lean is observation. Lean is all about common sense. Read some literature, understand what is lean, what is the different types of waste, and apply that. Go and check your process. Is this waste happening? Observation. Here it's a very, very different ball game. All about numbers and calculations. Very different world altogether. But yes, these are practically going to be applied in real world scenario always together, and we'll see how it's done, because we'll prepare the entire like the module in such a way so we know exactly how, when, what will come into picture. So, but that's basic understanding of Lean Six Sigma. AQ level for inspection, how to connect. So even for the AQ levels, basically we do the sigma level calculation for the any industry for that matter. When you calculate it, we will be just doing sample size calculation. We'll have that, so we'll cover it up. Yes, you will be able to get your answers from fabric part of it also, Santosh. So we do have some sample size calculator. So you this is the sample size. We'll be dealing with that. We'll understand how to deal with it. How many samples should be required and all that. We will do that. Calculations will be done, right? So we'll cover that up, no hassles. By it is a part of the syllabus. We'll cover it up. Sample size is very, very important part, and very much asked during job interviews also. So we'll cover it up, no hassles. So, but is it okay and clear with everyone? Basic understanding of Lean Six Sigma. Just the beginning, but yes.
Yes.
All right, perfect. Now,
Thank you.
given the time, generally we take like a 15 minutes break in a 3-hour session. So we will be taking, because another 3 minutes, 4 minutes are left. So technically, but we can take it right now. We can resume in next 15 minutes from now. So I'll have the time as per our respective time zone. Let's connect in 15 minutes. We'll start right sharp at 15 minutes when we come back from the break. So let's connect again. We'll have the clock on screen. Thanks, everyone. Are we back from the break?
Yes.
Thank you. So before going on the break, we just briefly discuss about what is Lean and Six Sigma. Today being the first day, the entire journey is about exploring Lean, which will honestly take about a day. But the remaining portion is all about Six Sigma. Six Sigma is obviously massive as compared to Lean. So first thing, there are certain topics which are honestly not my choice, but yes, we can't do much about it. History of Lean and Six Sigma. Where did it start? But in real world project, well, who cares about where did it start? History has already happened. But yes, from job perspective and exam, yes, some bit of information we should have in terms of where did it start. We should have the basic whereabouts. So we'll start with the history of Lean. How did Lean start? Not too much into it, but just enough what we should definitely know. History of Lean. It started with Ford Motors. The gentleman who was the CEO of Ford Motors was Henry Ford, who brought the concept of Lean. The word Lean did not come from Ford. Ford was not the one who got this word with the word. The actual word of Lean came from Toyota. So if I talk about, yes, where did it actually the word Lean originate from? The word Lean originated from Toyota. Toyota gave the word, the concept of Lean concepts were introduced. They came up with a TPS, which is called Toyota Production System. Toyota Production System is more of basically a collection of Lean tools. How they implemented Lean in their industry and practically in the automobile industry, that's a collection of Lean tools only. There are 5 principles of Lean, which we'll discuss. So these were all incorporated in this Toyota Production System, how they implemented Lean to drive the automobile industry. So word actually came from Toyota, but the initiation happened way before, where the effect, the word, the action was taken by Henry Ford way back. So just a quick background about this was these guys, when they were in automobile industry, Ford Motors obviously was way ahead of Toyota. And earlier the cars were made by assembly line, my bad. It was called as crafts manufacturing. Now, craft manufacturing was very slow process, very slow process. What used to happen in craft manufacturing, people used to move from one car to another to make it. So cars were stationary. So cars were placed at a place, and then pretty much people will move from one car to another to make it. So practically the cars were built at one place. So this one car is here, next car is here, third car is there. They all locked at one place, stationary. If I'm fitting in bulb, I'll move with all the bulbs to this car, fit in the bulbs in this car, then drag the remaining bulbs to this car, come and fit in the bulbs, then drag the remaining bulbs, go to this car, fit in the bulbs, and so on and so forth, all the cars. So I'm dragging all the material with me every now and then. Somebody who's fitting in tires is move with all the tires with him, just fit in the tires, drag remaining tires. And it was a slow process. Practically not the reported numbers show that their production capacity was 32 to 35 cars per month. Barely roughly about one car a month, one car per day. That was their production capacity. So these guys changed the way of manufacturing, and that was learned by everyone globally. In 1908, they came up with the assembly line concept, and that's used till date. Everyone uses assembly line. So they taught the world practically this concept of assembly line. This is where the Lean implementation happened. The word Lean was not known, but what they did was Lean. So the actions were Lean. Now what they did is, instead of people moving, they made cars started moving on a belt, and people became stationary. This change in the method increased the production capacity. So their production capacity increased by 3 to 4 times. The same number of staffs, their production capacity increased. They started the concept of the mass production sort of started happening for cars. And yes, pretty much Ford became very profitable because of this, because with the same number of people, they were manufacturing more cars, like 4 times. It's a big deal. In that generation, practically it was a big deal. Well, this concept was Lean, because Now they were able to manufacture roughly about 3.5 cars per day, which they're only making roughly about just over one car. So the production capacity increased with the same set of people just by changing the method. Bottom line, assembly line, what speed of the process is what this is. Practically, they implemented the assembly line, which increased the speed of the process. The learnings from this was incorporated by every other industry, not automobile. Every other industry was working on the same concept of craft manufacturing. They switched their concepts to assembly line because it was proven to be the better version of production. So globally, their concepts were learned by everyone, and so did Toyota learn from the same concepts, because globally quality improvement, continuous improvement was on the verge. People were trying to get better with time. Industrial revolution was on. Toyota came with this concept of Toyota. This is the reason why Toyota became so successful. The concept of lean came from Toyota. Even till date, there's no one, honestly, if you can talk about quality, no one can beat Japanese quality. They are phenomenal. Well, there's no concept of, there's no word called defect in their process. Practically, they just say when Japan was engaged in World War, First World War, Second World War, plus they were bombarded, the economy was in a bad shape, very, very bad shape. So either the country could have filed bankruptcy, or or you can choose to go for a difficult option to regroup as a nation and create the best out of nothing. They had less capital, bad infrastructure, everything was bad technically. So as a nation, they regrouped, and technically they understood that. If I talk about Toyota, because they were the one who gave the concept of lean, they understood that we can't beat General Motors, which is massive monopoly. Ford Motors, again, monopoly in that segment. So these two were big giant players who had technically all the market share. Toyota realized that we can't beat them in volume. They have like immense capital, great infrastructure, and we have problem with everything. But whatever we have got, if we want to beat them, we'll beat them with quality. That's the only choice we have. We have no means to produce cars with this kind of production capacity. Obviously not. We don't have capital for that. But yes, we will make less cars. Our cars will be less, but it will be the best cars. It will be comfortable. It will be less costly. It will be reliable. Customers should feel value for money. Well, that's what they crafted the masterpiece out of it. Well, these guys, it's always said necessity is the mother of invention. Since they had none, they had to learn the best ways out of it, whatever existing resources, full and complete utilization of resources. That gave birth to Six Sigma. So Japanese people learned the lean way the harder way because they had no choice. Everyone sort of incorporated. Lean became very prominent in Japan. World was still struggling to figure out what this so-called lean is there, because Japanese products were loved by everyone, and not only cars, everything else, because everyone was applying lean, and people were still trying to figure out what differently are they doing. And yes, this was struggling. This was sort of hurting somebody else also. That gave birth to Six Sigma. So history of lean and Six Sigma are interconnected. If lean won't have happened, Six Sigma would not have happened. At least that's what I could think of. This Six Sigma, anyone knows where did Six Sigma start? Thank you, Motorola. Motorola is where the Six Sigma actually started. We had this gentleman, yes, in 1980s, 1986, when the Six Sigma was officially launched. So it was troubling them a lot. They had complete monopoly in two products, Motorola pager and Motorola walkie-talkie. They started getting tough competition from newly started companies in Japan who were manufacturing pages and walkie-talkie, and their pages were better, their walkie-talkies were better than Japanese one. Early people had no choices. The only production capacity was with Motorola, and there were no choices available to them. So people, they like it or not, they had only one choice, Motorola. Now people had choices. So people started comparing. The Japanese product were less costly and more reliable, less warranty claims. People loved it. Motorola lost its significant market share to the Japanese companies, newly started companies, but they were better than Motorola. They were going through a very, very rough patch in terms of financial thing, because investors were pulling out money from Motorola and they're funding the Japanese companies because investors want to make money, and they lost market share. So a project was assigned by the CEO of Motorola, Bob Galvin, very noble soul. I would always thank this gentleman. Bob Galvin gave the project to his senior scientist in research and development. His name is Bill Smith. No longer, his name was practically is no longer alive. Bill Smith, he is also known as father of Six Sigma. Along with him, another gentleman was co-architect, I can say assistant scientist to him, Dr. Michael Harry, MIKEL, co-architect of Six Sigma, who was along with Bill Smith, who were given the task to come up with something which can beat this so-called D. Yes, in 1986, they announced it to the world that we have come up with something called Six Sigma, a new term for everyone. Nobody knew what is this Six Sigma. They said, well, this, if you apply Six Sigma in your process, you could improve your quality to 99.99966%. But that was unbelievable. That is phenomenal quality. Well, in that generation, 90% was a great deal. Japanese were striking 99 kind of quality with lean. That was like 99% was like phenomenal. But even Japanese got shock of their life. Is that also possible? Well, they translated this to the defect rate of 3.4 defects in 1 million. Well, it was talk of the town. People wanted to know what is Six Sigma. Well, this is unbelievable performance. Motorola regained everything, the market share, the investors, everything. Their financial problem was solved. Practically, this was thanks to Bob Galvin. He never wanted to keep it as a secret company, proprietary information. He wanted the industry to benefit. So they conducted seminars, they invited companies to come and visit Motorola, see how Six Sigma projects were done. How do you analyze the variation, the root causes, how you figure it out, how you sustain the process continuously without like deteriorating the process. Well, a lot of companies visited Motorola. They taught industries to learn Six Sigma, implement Six Sigma, and practically, yes, the big companies stepped in. ABB, they still use Six Sigma. Allied Signal, one of the big, these are good companies. Honeywell, they incorporated Six Sigma as a company continuous improvement philosophy. With these companies were giants in a different sector, where they started reporting cost saving, not revenue, cost saving in billions of dollars. That was unbelievable. Practically, they were bigger than Motorola, and practically they were able to save big amount of money. People not talk about revenue. This is cost saving because of Six Sigma. And yes, finally, the biggest game changer stepped in. 1995. The real name and fame, like Toyota is lean. When we talk about lean, we talk about Toyota. Similarly, when we talk about Six Sigma, we talk about General Electric. General Electric was the one who revolutionized everything. This was massive, even till date. General Electric. Well, by the way, if anyone wants to get a job in General Electric in any management role, any management capacity, you have to be a Six Sigma certified professional. Top to bottom, everyone knows Six Sigma. The work of the way of living in General Electric is Six Sigma. They absolutely follow this. But practically, they are so big. They use Six Sigma for themselves. They use Six Sigma for their clients. And they became consultants of Six Sigma like us. You got a problem? Well, hire us as consultant. We'll come and solve your problem using Six Sigma. They made it popular. Well, these guys were, and this is the CEO of Motorola, General Electric, was Jack Welch. Jack Welch was the one who incorporated Six Sigma in 1995. We will learn Six Sigma in 5 different phases. How Six Sigma gets implemented is DMAIC. D stands for define, measure, analyze, improve, and control. Define phase, we select the right project. But there may be so many problems in an organization. You can't solve every problem with a single project. So you have to select the most important one. Practically, project management is required. So if you're coming from a project management background, well, pretty much you know the tools here. PMP syllabus, copy and paste in the first section. This one is purely about project management. Selection of the right project. Understand you as a business, you have 20 different things to solve. Multiple challenges, cost, attrition, market share, a lot of things are there. We have to select the right project because we've got limited resources, limited budget, limited time, and we have to do justice with that. ROI has to be looked into. So project management is what skills will be required in the define phase to select the right project. Once you've identified the problem, which will be solved during the project, you collect reliable data for analysis. Six Sigma foundation is data. If your data is wrong, the analysis will be wrong. So here, it's all about quality management plus statistics. Statistics comes back here, practically. Analyze phase is purely about applying the statistical tools. Find the root causes. Why you're facing a problem. Practically, you apply your statistical tools and you figure out why is it happening. Again, quality management and statistics. Improve phase, well, you have a target to achieve. So achieve the target. Again, statistics involved here. Quality management statistics. Last is sustained improvement. There's no fun in achieving a target and then going back to the square one. So Six Sigma, when you improve something, it stays there, it doesn't go back. Basically, what is the process of Six Sigma? You generally in a traditional projects, this is how you will see an improvement. You'll see an improvement, it goes up, and then slowly, gradually declines, and then you start experiencing some problem, and finally it goes back to normal. So you have again problem resurfaced again. Practically, it starts having decline here. Every step you have a problem. It gets bigger and bigger. Not in Six Sigma. You improve something, that's improve phase. Control, sustain it. Sustain this level. There's no point in going too far. Sustain this level. Your process goes into extreme statistical control. When this level is sustained, then you pick up a new project. Achieve the target, improve it, sustain it. Sustenance is very important. There's no point in just taking up multiple projects and then failing it. Pick up a new project again, sustain that level. So DNA of the process is every changed completely at every improvement, you sustain it. So it's a step ladder approach. It always a continuous improvement, project after project, it goes on, but it's a continuous sustained improvement. So what you gain, never lose that improvement in Six Sigma. By the way, just want a quick heads up, Six Sigma people were biggest copycats. They copied the best practices in quality management, they copied the best practices in statistics and project management, everything. And the control phase is 100% copy and paste. We will be discussing about control charts. Control charts were developed by Dr. Walter Schewel in 1920s. They were tried, tested, successful methods. Globally, people were using it in different industries. They just copied and made a control phase out of it. So no big deal. These guys just compiled the best practices. They were nothing new. They did their effort, made the effort to put things together in a right logical order. Yes, this was a copy and paste, complete copy and paste of control phase. Control charts were already practiced everywhere. Now, when we will talk about Six Sigma, we'll learn about Six Sigma getting implemented in these 5 different phases, how we will go about picking up a project. Define phase will be most likely, not most likely, but we will be definitely starting tomorrow. So we'll start getting into the Lean Six Sigma way. The first define phase is what we'll be learning. Now, first version, the define phase, the old word, technically the measure, analyze, improve, control, was the Motorola version of Six Sigma. Motorola original version of Six Sigma had only 4 phases, MAC, measure, analyze, improve, control. When General Electric picked it up, they said, guys, you have definitely created a good method, but you are missing a trick here. You got to define the problem first. You can't solve any world's hunger in one day. You have to rationalize and find out the right appropriate project. Defining the problem is the first step. If you know what's the problem you're going to be solving, just can't pick up any problem. So these guys incorporate it became DMAIC. And since then we have been using DMAIC. Everyone uses DMAIC. DMAIC is what people work with. Now, this is the framework of Six Sigma, how Six Sigma gets implemented in 5 different phases. When we go about implementing this Six Sigma in 5 different phases, technically, we talk about the framework of Six Sigma. Frameworks, is it the only framework? The answer is no. There are other methods also. We have DMAIC, is what we discussed. This is the 99% you will always using this one. But there's another version also of implementing Six Sigma, which is called DFSS, Design for Six Sigma. Now, when to use a DMAIC version and when to use a DFSS version, that we need to understand first. For existing process, we use DMAIC. You need to have historical data. The process is working. You have historical data. Well, if your process is doing fine, great job. But can you do better? Absolutely. There's always a scope for improvement. So you always work with DMAIC when there's a historical data. There's an existing process. You will use the historical data to select the project and you carry out your project for all existing process. DFSS is for new product or service. This is when you're creating. So here it's not about improving an existing one. This is for creating a new product, service, design, or process statistically to meet the customer requirement. Let me take a simple example so that we can relate with it easily. Say I am in a service, in a software development business. I have been selling my software packages to different clients. One of my clients who's been using my software for good, say 5-10 years, and it's been fine. He's been happy. One fine day, he visited his friend, and his friend was using some latest technology software. With one click, he could send email, graph, charts, analysis, everything was done. He got fascinated. So he comes back and says, well, Shashi, I want you to give me similar software. I don't like this one. I need a better one, which is what I saw with my friend. Pretty much I need a similar version. So, well, with all due respect, I tell my client that, sorry, I can't give you that advancement, that enhancement, whatever you're looking for in the existing software. But what you're talking about is an old, we have using old technology, the coding, the structure, it's everything is an old version. Having said that, whatever you're looking for is the latest technology. If you need one, I can make one for you. So I can't improve the existing one, but I can make one for you. You let me know what you want. I can design, develop, and give you exactly what you want. So here you design everything statistically to get what the customer is looking for. DFSS is implemented in two different ways. This is bread and butter for people in research and development. So people in research and development, well, that's what they deal with day in, day out. R&D department, yes, you tailor-made, you understand the customer requirement, design and develop them. So there's a tool, there's a statistical tool used as DOE, design of experiments. That's the static. It's very complex, honestly, a little confusing also. I would say not little confusing, little more confusing. It is complicated. It is used to carry out this DFSS. Now, it's an advanced statistical tool. To apply this, you need to know this. All you learn here gets combined together in DOE. So this is where even if you have to go there, this is the route. This has to be rock solid. So if you know this, you will be able to drive this. If you don't know this, you can't do this. Simple as that. This all the tools which you learned, the statistics you have learned, all gets combined together in DOE. We will be covering at DOE. So we'll talk about DOE. It's all here. Cover it up. We'll understand how it's done. Bottom line, we will cover it up. When we talk about DFSS, there are two versions of DFSS, how we go about implementing it. DMAIDV and IDOV. This is the last topic we'll touch in our journey. 10th day is when we'll pick up this DOE. D stands for define, measure, analyze, design, and verify. IDOV is identify, design, optimize, and verify. Let's understand what's the basic difference. Both are DFSS, but which version should we go with? When to use this and when to use this? So basic difference between DMAIDV, DMAIDV, and IDOV. Here, we create a new product, which is new for the company, but not new for the world. Here, you create a new product for the company, which is new for the world too. COVID vaccines have come from IDOV. All your COVID vaccines. All we'll talk about. Let's first pick up DMAIDV. This one is relatively easy. Relatively easy. Not I would say easy, but relatively easy. Then ID. This is pure invention. This is invention part. This is when you have some information. Let's see. Let's take a simple example. We've been hearing, like I've been hearing a lot about this gentleman who has this Tesla, Elon Musk. They are going to come into mobile phones. Well, soon we will have mobile phones coming from this company. They are into space programs. They're into electric cars. Now they were trying to get into Twitter stuff. God knows what not, but they have been. So the work has already been going on for a pretty long time. They will be getting into mobile phone manufacturing. Well, is it new product for them? Definitely, yes. This company has never been into mobile phones. They are going to get into mobile phones. It's a new product for them. But is it new for the world? No, we already have mobile phones. We've got best of the phones in the market. We've got your iPhones, you've got a Samsung, and so on and so forth. We've got good phones in the market. It's not new for the world. It's definitely new for the company. So company is starting a new product line. Is it relatively easy? Definitely, yes. You already have existing market leaders in the so you can go and purchase an iPhone, you can purchase a Samsung, or you can purchase whichever phone, and you feel that is a market leader. Well, you can buy that phone, use the product, and pretty much you can break it down, dismantle it, give it to your research and development team, tell them, well, this is how I want my phone to look like. This is how use it. Look at the features, all possible things available with you. You have something to look at. You have something to refer to. This is the roadmap, how it should look like. Practically, you can take survey from the people because you know people have got a lot of information, insights, what additionally. So this guy is giving you 120 megapixel camera. I can give you 150 megapixel camera. Bottom line, we always try to enhance this. With a new product launch, I would like to come in the market with some distinctive features, which will differentiate me from the existing lot. So, but it's relatively easy because you have something to look at. The big problem is here is you're chasing an idea. You're chasing an idea. COVID vaccines, when this all started technically, I'm talking about this COVID infections. There was a lot of speculations like how long will it take to get a COVID vaccine? Will it take about a year's time, 2 years, 3 years, 6 years? God knows how long, because no vaccine was available for COVID vaccines. Practically, there was nothing before that. So yes, we had an idea what we want to make, but how? No idea. Nobody had done it before. We had no roadmap. Data was not available. Pretty much the genetic sequence was not clear. So yes, some bit of data was collected, and then the clinical research happened and all the statistical. So with some data, you extrapolate more results, and then you extrapolate more results. So practically, DOE comes into picture. So you design and develop, and yes, you might run some trials, some clinical trials. So people remember there were basically there were news where people have gone through first level of clinical trials, second level. So people who nominate themselves to take those vaccines which are still under development, which is very risky. Hats off to those people who volunteered themselves for a clinical trial. But yes, with some people, they test those vaccines and they get they collect the data about what immunity level and whatever the changes happen, and then finally they try to extrapolate results to see how does it work. If it's working for this 20-30 people, will it work for billions of people across the world? Practically, that's what you draw with stuff. So this is where you're chasing an idea. You don't have an existing data. Well, good part about this, DOE guides you what to do. Rather you try hit and trial, it will tell you what to do to get the desired result. It's the best part about DOE. That's why it's an advanced version. So when you design and develop a new car, faster car, all that is driven through DOE. The best part, as I said, rather you try hit and trial, system guides you, statistics will guide you. Make this change A, B, C, and you get this XYZ result. That's the beauty about it. We'll see that happening. So when we cover it on the last final day, we'll see. We can verify also. So there's we can test this data. We'll try this and we'll understand how this exactly works. But honestly, before getting here, we must be rock solid here. This is what is required because everything will combine together in one version. Okay, Mr. Faisal has a question. DMAIDV stands for what if you please. DMAIDV is define, measure, analyze, design, and verify. Raw 108. This is DMAIDV. So we're talking about what is difference between DMAIDV and IDOV. Both are versions of implementing DFSS. DMAIC, first, the major classification is DMAIC, DFSS versus DMAIC. This is the, and within the DFSS, there are two ways to implement DFSS. Mega, this is the IDOV was any invention, any new thing that has never not been experienced before. That was a, like COVID vaccine was an IDOV version. You had any new invention which comes to the market, well, will be at probably this cars which are talking without a human being driving a car, that will be an IDOV whenever well, I'm not sure whether it's in there or not, but no, not so a new concept, something which has never been tried before, will be this IDOV. Something which I see you have never experienced this, but yes, you have an idea, you line of sight, and you're trying to develop that statistically. So you will be, this is pure invention, but because this is, you don't have a roadmap, you don't have any idea but you have an idea where you want to be, but you don't know how would you get there because nobody has done it before. So system guides you how to get there. So practically there'll be, so you design and develop everything. So all that part of designing will happen. Statistical designing will happen, and we will see how it's done, but we'll get to that part. It is a complex topic, yes, but we have to get there to understand that. So this is where you design, everything will happen, the designing, data collection. So when you talk about, we collect data, we analyze it, we improve it, we control it. Here, all that designing, development, verification, everything will happen. The system will guide you how to do it. This is all here. Well, basically, we'll try and do this, some bit of study later. Let's see. So it will design and develop. So it's a little complex version, but just to give an idea, quick one. So system will guide you how to deal with it. So some bit of pluses, minuses, you'll see that, but there are a lot of things we'll kind of cover up. We'll understand how system will design, how to deal with it. Practically, it will come with that. But yes, before that, we have to understand a lot of other things. So this is a little complex one. But as we, for 99% of the time, unless you're in research and development, you will not. I have only worked on one DFSS till date. It's really rare, unless your job role is of R&D, you'll only be working DMAIC. But having said that, if I'm working on DMAIC, can I use DOE? 100% yes. 100% yes, I can use DMAIC in like while I'm using DMAIC, I can use DOE also, because it's an advanced tool. It's an advanced tool, and we will be able to use this. If I have, as a green belt, we only work with DMAIC. As a black belt, you will have knowledge. So if I have knowledge of advanced tool, why can't you use it? Well, so as a black belt, yes, if I'm working on DMAIC projects, I will definitely use DOE. It's a much more comprehensive tool. But as a green belt, obviously you don't learn it, so you can't use it. Half and full, well, we'll cover it up. We will be doing it. We'll be covering it up. Half and full factorial, fractional factorial, there are a lot of things in there. So we'll cover it up. It would not be possible to kind of talk about this because like we may not make sense. Yes, Mr. Faisal.
Yes, hi. So basically DMAIDV and IDOV for in case of new products, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, thank you. Clear.
This is for new, both of them are if you, but this one is when you already have some reference in the world, and here you don't have. This is pure invention. This is invention. And both use DOE. So DOE is what you need to understand is how to use DOE, and then take up anything, whatever you want, you can definitely use. So I will definitely recommend, since you would know DOE, whether you're in research and development or not, well, go ahead and use it in regular process. If you have a process, well, existing process, apply DOE. Close your eyes and use it. This is the best thing. Well, I will not do hit and trial. System will guide me what to do. Great job. Practically less burden. If you understand it, there's no better tool than DOE, practically. But yeah, we'll get there. I'm sure you will get, and we will see how it works, exactly the practical work, how it actually works, how we will get the solution. System will tell us, we'll verify those results. It will come right. Always, we'll see that. So practically, this is the framework. Whether you may use any method, see the traditional version of implementing Six Sigma is when, like not Six Sigma, but a regular process improvement. You may have a real world problem that you would like to solve. You convert that real world problem into like with the application of your knowledge, skills, you will try to go and improve it. You have a real world solution implemented. Most of the situation, yes, you are able to solve your problem with your expertise, your knowledge and experience, everything done. But some situations would be there where you may not be able to solve it and the problem reoccurs. So that's where when Six Sigma is applied, situation is similar, but you convert this real world problem into a statistical problem. Then the statistical problem is converted into a statistical solution. And this statistical solution, when you know it works, you apply in real world. So no hit and trial in real world solution. You exactly know it's working. So when we talk about real world problem, this is where we talk about defined phase. Converting the real world problem into a statistical problem is when we talk about measure phase. Analyzing the root causes, why it's happening, again, statistical problem later. Solution is all about improve phase. And control the improvement in the real world solution. So control phase. So technically, this is how your phases are lined up in any given scenario, whether you may be working in any of those methods, but all of these are lined up in the similar logic. You will have data approach in between. So basically, broad classification of your Six Sigma. Well, these are the frameworks that we deal with. So all in all, the priority will be this. The majority of the topics that will cover up this DMAIC, because 99% of the time you will be dealing with this, and yes, some bit of DOE, which we will be sufficient to kind of go and cover up these the questions and real world application also. We will have a bit of idea how to deal with it, so that shouldn't be a problem. That's from the framework part. Anyone has any questions on starting from history? Yes, Amit.
So just one query for this DMAIC process, is there any standard worldwide guideline, then how long that project should be completed? Is in 3 months or 6 months? Is there any standard timeline?
No, it depends on the situation, how bad is the problem and how difficult your situation is, like how high a target you have kept, more how complex is the situation. It will depend from company to company, situation to situation. So it doesn't, there's no guideline as such.
Okay.
Anyone has any questions on this history, starting from lean history, Six Sigma, and the framework? Any questions? Then let's move ahead to the
so I have on a DOE.
Sorry, your voice is cracking. Sorry, your voice is cracking. So sorry about that. Okay, why it is called Six Sigma? Okay, because we were able to achieve this performance. That's why. So when you statistically, when you go and find it out, we will see when they were able to improve a process up to this level, and when they translated to a concept of six, the Sigma part, it's a statistics thing, which is coming from there. So it boils down to Six Sigma. Practically, that's why it's 6 standard deviation. Yes, we'll get into the standard deviation part later. So that's what we're avoiding the terminology related to statistics right now. So it is about 6 standard deviations. Basically, we'll understand what is standard deviation. That's when things will get clear. So when you understand how do you calculate the sigma level, it could be 4 sigma, 5 sigma, and sigma levels can come into picture. Depending on one company can hundreds of sigma levels, depending on what are you trying to improve. Everything you can calculate sigma for anything. See, the design of experiment is a tool which includes all statistics tool all together once. So data collection happens in DOE, your analysis will happen in DOE, your verification will happen in DOE. It's a complex. So here you do it in different phases. Here it's all done in one single statistics tool. Everything will get covered. Yes, Asif. Yes, Greenbelt Greenbelt will be leading the project. So we'll talk. The next thing is what we're going to talk about is about rules only. So Six Sigma belts and rules, what to do and what are the responsibilities in an organization. Do we have project on contact center where Six Sigma has been implemented? See, contact centers, there are a lot of examples, a lot of case studies. So I'm sure we just download the case studies there in your LMS. You'll see there's a case study zip. You will be able to find some answers there. What the case studies there on Six Sigma. It is there. So people have implemented. I've done a lot of things for Six Sigma, well, for the contact centers also. Belts and rules. So we talk about a master, like a black belt program, but let's understand what are the different belts and rules in Six Sigma. First belt is a white belt. We're not talking about the white belt anymore here. Why? Because white belt here. Then we have a yellow belt. Then we have a green belt. We will be talking about green belt. We'll talk about black belt to compare green belt and black belt so that we know the difference. What is the role-wise difference, and basically what are the difference between green belt project and black belt project. And then we have a master black belt. Then we have, so that's my Six Sigma belts end here. That's the end of the belts. There's no more belts after that. But as a Six Sigma professional, we'll be dealing with two more terminology: champion and sponsor. Let's check this out first thing first. White belt. Who is a white belt? Practically, you got to get this thing clear. As a white belt, you don't become a part of Six Sigma project. You're not even a member of a project. Yes, it's an awareness training. Generally, I would say like 1 to 2 hours or 2 to 3 hours at the max. That's it. You might pick up a case study. You want to educate your staff and tell your people how people have implemented Six Sigma in our industry and how they've benefited, just to create awareness what is Lean Six Sigma. So I don't want people to come back and ask, well, but I heard that you're doing some Six Sigma thing. What is that? I don't want that questions to come. So it's an awareness program. That's it. Case studies can be discussed. Actual work will start at yellow belt. So as yellow belt, yes, you are a team member of the project, but you don't lead it. You don't lead a project as a yellow belt. Well, yellow belt technically is a one-day training where you learn about overview of DMAIC and overview of 7 quality control tools. We will be helping green belts and black belts. So as a yellow belt, somebody who's a yellow belt trained will be helping the green belt and the black belt in the project. These people are very important. They're active team members of the project. They understand the language Six Sigma people use. So if I go and tell, well, we're going to make a fishbone diagram, we're going to do a Pareto chart, we will be making a control chart, they will understand the language. So yes, you need people who can get this work done. You need data to be collected. Practically, they will be very, very important for us. But they don't lead a project. Project manager role starts here. So green belt and black belt both are project managers. So lead a project as a green belt, you lead a project as a black belt. Who would lead it? Now, difference between green belt and black belt. First of all, difference in their project management skills. Both are same. There is no difference whatsoever. Why? Because whether it's a green belt project or black belt project, you have to start from define, take to control. So project management skills cannot be different. You have to have complete thorough knowledge. So define phase is all about project management. So green belt and black belt define phase, there is no difference in green belt and black belt define phase because project management skills cannot be compromised. You have to manage the entire project. You will have same syllabus of green belt and black belt. Coming to the changes now, statistical exposure. Green belts, I'll say like low to medium exposure. Black belt is extensive. Why? Because we can say gladly, we can say thanks to design of experiment. This makes it very complex. When we will study and as we go forward, we'll see that green belts only deal with normal data. We'll see what is normal data. It'll be early to talk about it, but green belts only work with normal data. Black belts work with normal data, non-normal data, categorical data, which is of 3 types: binary, ordinal, nominal. So different types of data. Technically, if you know how to solve this, there's no other data in the world you can't solve. This is everything. So whatever kind of data analysis you have to do, well, it will fit into this. So black belt knows everything. Green belt only knows normal data. That's the basic. So black belt is extensive. Every possible data that can exist, which needs to be analyzed, will fit into any of this category. So that's why I was talking about the Google Drive has all that folder, which has this project data file. It has got green belt data. Oops, my bad. That's the data that we have. Like in real. So this is the normal data, non-normal data, categorical data. You have all of it. So we learn about all possible types of data. Okay, apart from this, what is the difference here? Tenure of the project. Generally, typical, not a guideline, not a rule. Most of the projects, green belt, will take about 4 to 6 months time. Most projects. Can there be exception? Yes, green belt project can take about years also. Exceptions can be there. Most of the project gets completed within 4 to 6 months. You can have an extended project. Black belts project take about 9 to 12 months technically, because more complex are there because of nature of the business. Practically, black belt project can be 2 years, 3 years long project also, depending on how complex why we just complete about this year itself about 18 months long project. It varies from project to project. Okay, Liti says, can we improve a process? No, absolutely not. For that, you have to use Lean. Data, if you don't have data, you can't use Six Sigma. Six Sigma will require data. So either, okay, so to answer your question, Liti, Lean is definitely not like a choice there. Lean has to be there. So that part, Lean you have to use any which ways. Coming to Six Sigma, since you don't have data, you have to create data. And then you can start using Lean. So when you have to create data, what you're doing, you're creating something new. Design of experiment will come into picture. So that's where you can use DOE. You create new data. And then, so by the time you're creating and doing all that DOE part, Lean will start working. And by the time you get data gets created, you can start using it. Let the design of experiment guide you how to improve the process. You can do that. DOE will help there. Yes, absolutely. Yes, Mithun. You will be testing, running the samples audits, and practically you'll be kind of extrapolating more results, and it will guide you how to do it in DOE. Apart from this, the role part. Role is very important. Well, pardon me before, like if you come to see this one role, green belts work within their department. Well, it's a contradiction to what I said. I said no boundaries, no restriction, whichever industry, whichever department. Well, I'm contradicting myself. Well, green belt works within the department. Why is that so? Can green belts work with other departments? 100% yes. Can they work in any industry? 100% yes. But the culture globally is that green belts will only be working in their department. Why? There's a logical reason. Green belts are not 100% project managers. Their work ratio is 70-30 ratio. 70, not rule, but ratio. Generally, is that's not a rule. But somebody who's in operations, say hypothetically, somebody is an operations guy. This person was hired as an operations resource, has now learned Six Sigma. So since you have learned Six Sigma, you want to implement Six Sigma projects. So 70% of time, you will still be doing your operations job. 30% of time, you will be solving operational challenge. Why not something else? Because your salary is paid by the department. Cost center comes into picture. Your salary is borne by the department. So the department will, if I'm paying you salary, I'll get my problem solved. If you are an HR person, 70% of time, you still do a HR job for which you were hired. 30% of time, you will solve HR problems. So technically, it's not a rule, but that since your salary is paid by the department, cost center, in the financial world, cost center comes into play. That's why they don't give you a chance to work with other departments unless the department stakeholders collaborate and they use you as a shared resource. So, but 30% of project, that's what they generally work with. Can they work with other departments? 100% yes. Green belts can be team lead in terms of operations. Yes, absolutely yes. 100% black belts are 100% project managers. These are 100% project managers. They will poke their nose in every department. They work cross-functional. With every department stakeholder, they will be coordinating, getting the problem solved. So practically, they will be coordinating with multiple stakeholders at the same time. Black belts will be cross-functional. One more differentiation between green belt and black belt will be about cost saving. But this is not a standard rule because it will be depending on the company. Cost saving, green belt, General Electric says, as per this is only for General Electric. Anything which is less than $10 million, cost saving project, they call it as a green belt project, less than $10 million. If it's more than $10 million cost saving project, it will be called as a black belt as per General Electric, not for everyone. If it's a small scale company, that scale could be different. If it's a medium scale company, who decides this? The company stakeholders. Every company stakeholder will decide based on cost saving, this much of cost, I will say this is a green belt or black belt. Technically, this is how you differentiate at organization level. There are no guidelines, no rules for this because it will depend on the size of the company. They will decide. So General Electric has this definition. This could not be, this may be very, very different in a different organization. That's the basic differentiation between green belt and black belt. Then comes my last belt in Six Sigma, Master Black Belt. This gentleman is experienced black belt. His experience of doing projects in diversified industries, industries, departments, domains, bottom line view. This guy is an expert and has idea about working different capacity and has diversified knowledge. This person will be responsible to mentor the team of green belts and black belts. So he'll be managing a team. Generally, the team size for a master black belt is 10 to 12 people. So they manage about 10 to 12 projects. Technically, they do nothing. They manage projects with the help of green belt knows green belt job, black belt knows black belt job. Technically, they're doing it. If they get stuck, if you feel they're not going right, you can call them and do a feedback session with them. Practically, this is how you kind of manage the project. So unless and until you, okay, well, if you're working as a consultant like me, then practically you will be doing the project as a consultant. When I pick up a project for a company, then I'm the only one technically as a freelancer. So I'm going in, solving the project, doing the project myself. But if I'm working in an organization, then I have a team. Practically, I have nothing else to do other than probably giving a friend. Like this guy is more of a mentor or a coach. But if you're working as a consultant, you're practically doing a project yourself. Otherwise, you have a team who will be doing that job for you. This guy will be responsible for acting as a bridge between Six Sigma department and management. So this guy will be coordinating. So what is the Six Sigma department? Generally, Six Sigma departments are called process excellence departments, operational excellence departments, and you can have change of name. Their names can vary from company to company, but most common name of the department is process excellence, operational excellence, business excellence, and you can see a lot of variation. But these are most common name of Six Sigma department. Job interviews, job openings will come for process excellence, business excellence, operation, the most common name. But you could see a variation depending on how company wants to call it. But this is what you will generally see. Okay, how much experience we talk about? Generally about 10 to 12 projects at the time, 10 to 12. Yes, 10 to 12 projects at the same time. A minimum of 10 to 12 projects also will be sufficient for you to sit through the session, like basically for you to apply for a master black belt training also. And that definition varies from company to company. It varies from institution. So there is no guideline which says that this is not permissible. People do it generally. So like from it, they will see a lot of variations in the eligibility criteria from who is providing that certificate. So yes, you will see variations there. There's no such guideline in terms of what should be the minimum eligibility criteria there. But most common, like, and yes, there is one more criteria which they generally use is 80 hours, a minimum of 80 hours of training experience. As a master black belt, to apply as a black belt, you should have conducted some training before you can become eligible. So yeah, apart from 10 to 12 projects, you should have minimum. So to be eligible to go for master black. So it takes time to get there, but yes, absolutely achievable. If you're doing a project, you can work on this. This is the minimum. Most of the institutions have this criteria. That's on the Six Sigma belts. Now there are two more terminology we will be dealing as a Six Sigma professional. We'll be dealing with sponsors. We'll be dealing with champion. Very important questions will come in the examination from this section. Technically, this one, this gentleman. That's the most common question area. Not these belts. Honestly, there will be no question. Generally, not asked. You can't frame a question, but generally a simple. Here, there'll be something to deal with. Let's talk about who's a sponsor first. Funds the project. Who is this gentleman? Could be CEO, CXO, CTOs, or director of the company. What are those designations? Funding authority gives the money. That's it. Who is the champion? Technically, champion is, it's not a Six Sigma belt. It's, first of all, it's a management. This person is for management role. It is somebody from the management side, not from Six Sigma side. So we call somebody as a champion who is from the management side, who the owner of the project. Whosoever is the owner of the project, we call this person as a champion. Who is this in general? The VPs or head of department. Whichever department we are doing the project. So if it's an operations project, the VP operations or head of operations, HR head, bottom line, the head of department. Now try to understand the relation here. This head of department, say operations or HR, this guy has been facing challenge in the process. This person would have consulted all the experts in the department. They would have tried to solve it. It's not getting solved. The chronic problem, it keeps coming back. So now the champion will connect with the Six Sigma department, tell experience, will explain about the challenges they have been facing. So finally they kind of they understand there is a project required. So champion wants Six Sigma team to involve and solve the problem for them, because they have tried and failed all possible things. They have tried the experience, lean, everything has been done. I need you to help us with this project. So practically they'll put together a plan, and that plan is what we learn in define phase. That is what we do. How do you present your case in front of the management? So sponsor needs to look at it. So champion will in turn present that to the sponsor, telling that we have been facing a problem, and I don't think we will be able to solve it without a Six Sigma team. So here is my proposal. So technically the proposal will be shared by the Six Sigma representative. Champion will get the approval done for that proposal to solve the problem. So funding will be given technically on the face value of the champion. Who gets the funding? The champion gets the funding. So champion will convince the sponsor that I have a problem and that needs a Six Sigma expertise, and obviously that will be cost. So this is my plan. This is how we want to solve this. This will be the tentative cost. And if you implement this Six Sigma project, this is the benefit. So all that convincing part will be done by the champion to convince the sponsor that we need to get the project done. Now, owner of the project is the champion. Why? Because the champion got the approval. Champion had a problem. Champion wants the problem to be solved. So we are just a facilitator. We are doing the project for the champion. So in real world sense, this guy is my client. We will very rarely talk to sponsor. Our communication will be with the champion. This guy is technically my client, that whom I'm working for, and I'm getting the work done. This guy is my client. So now there's some additional inputs about champion you should know. First of all, he's the owner. We're not the owner. Next, this guy will be responsible for approval, denial, or review of the project. This champion will do a lot of reviews. So all the decisions will be taken by the champion. Project success or failure is champion's responsibility. This person will be responsible for, like, if the project becomes successful, great job, you've done a great job. If the project fails, all the beating will be taken by the champion. Hence, champion will be ruthless, because what you do will impact the champion. If you do the project properly, obviously champion will get the credit, and if the project fails, then, well, obviously you did a failed project, but somebody else will be getting the beating, because sponsor is going to ask the champion, what have you done with the money? Well, practically you showed that the plan, I don't see an improvement. So all the answers will be given by the champion to the sponsor. So it's very important. Champion will be very, very ruthless in follow. So yes, the approval, denial, everything will be done by the champion. This guy will be like also responsible. Well, what is the expected role of a champion? This person is responsible for removing roadblocks in the project. Somebody is giving you a tough time. Like somebody was supposed to help you in the project. It's not giving you time, giving you a run around. You needed data, but this guy is not giving data. He's always stalling. He's giving you date after date, time after time, and your project is getting delayed. Do not wait and sit. It's not your project. It's champion's project. Champion, loop in champion immediately without any delay, because it's this person's responsibility. This person is supposed to get, so this person is at a respectable position, at a very high position. This person will be able to help you solve it. Unless you tell this person, there's no way this guy would know. So it's very important for you to make sure that we do not hold things at our end. If you face a problem, loop in champion immediately. This guy, it's his project, not yours. So the more interested party here is the champion, not you. So yes, you're getting it done for the champion. So you've got to make sure if you face any challenge, any problem, loop in champion without any delay. Well, one more thing, champion himself or herself maybe a white belt, a yellow belt, or a green belt, or a black belt, or a master black belt, or you don't need to be a Six Sigma belt to be a champion. Well, you head of department, you don't need to be a Six Sigma professional. Well, you may be any of these because this is extra skill that you gain. So this person would have also taken up some training, would have been a Six Sigma professional, or maybe not. If I talk about 7-8 years ago, technically 5-7 years, I would say that's the time frame. If I would interview and connect with champions and sponsors, out of 10, the general ratio of Six Sigma professional was about 2-3 at the max. People who knew Six Sigma at a senior management role, out of 10. Now that number is 9 out of 10. That tells you the seriousness about Six Sigma across. I do a lot of exclusive training, one-on-one training for various champions, stakeholders, CEOs, CXOs. These are exclusive trainings only for those specs. So there's a one-on-one training which is conducted on their data. So we conduct those trainings. And this demand has increased exponentially. Top Fortune 500 companies, we have done the training for them, big names practically, but yes, these are exclusive training for them. So that we have seen a serious increase in the need of Six Sigma. Why? Because today they want to learn Six Sigma. So when they understand Six Sigma, they would start giving projects to different people. They will start, and when they get trained, then they will try to go and incorporate training for their staff. And then pretty much you can't fool around with them because they understand everything. So now the need actually has arisen. So technically they want to understand what is Six Sigma thoroughly, first of all, themselves. And then there's the team. Generally, we used to conduct training for the staff. But now the training is getting done for the top management and then the staff. It's a top-down approach, actually. So it's the right thing which is happening in the Six Sigma world is that, yes, nowadays this number is at almost like 9 out of 10, which is pretty good sign, healthy sign for organizations. So demand has increased a lot. Now coming back to the questions, I get see there's some questions in the chat. Let's quickly talk about it. Is champion the management representative? 100% yes. It's the champion is the management representative who is giving us the project. So we are the ones supposed to solve the problem. So this guy is from the management side. Champion and process owners can be different. Yes, absolutely. So you can have, okay, can champion and sponsor be the same person? 100% yes. In a small company, I may be the director and I'm the sponsor also. Yes, this is for a typical matured organization who will have different roles. Variations can be seen, but at least these are 2 different roles, but can be performed by the same person. Champion can be, yes, project manager, director. Bottom line, this is for a matured organization. We'll generally see these are different roles, but small scale company, you could see that this role is handled by same person also. You'll see those exceptions, but typical journal, their roles are different. One person may be following 2 roles also. Is it okay and clear with everyone?
Jesse, why would you refer champion as a client?
Because we will be all coordination. See, we will be submitting a project charter with this person. This person will be the one who will be approving or denying. And this person is the one who's actually contracted us for the project. We will barely be getting in touch with it because all coordination will happen between champion and sponsor, and all coordination will happen between Six Sigma. So our point of contact, our authority, and who will be taking a decision, who will be approving it. Even so, projects may be denied when you submit for an approval. Projects may be denied by the champion. So technically, my communication, everything, this is the one who's hired us to solve a problem for his or her department. So that's why I say this guy is technically my client, who's like in a general sense, because this person wants a problem to be solved. So he's communicated with you, wants to use your services and get it solved. So we have to share a proposal, a plan, which we all will learn in the define phase. So if we go back to this quick one project, sample project here, let me show you this one. So we will be submitting a project charter to the champion, and the project charter will be, so in general, there will be, because there are a lot of other people who know Six Sigma, there will be project selections done, and then your project charter will be shared with the management. This is how project charter would look like. So technically, they will review the project charters, evaluate different project charters, and finally the best project charter wins. So practically, that's how Champion will take that project charter forward and then get the funding approval done for that project charter. So Champion will, we will generally not be coordinating with the sponsor. Our point of contact will be Champion. Is it okay?
Well, it's an interesting concept, but I was in the perception that the sponsor and the clients are both the same until this point.
The Champion and sponsor?
Sorry, the sponsor and the client are both the same. So your concept just put me in a situation where now I'm completely confused.
Okay.
So let's say I'm working for a sponsor X, and apparently he's my client. It is his product, and I'm the service provider. So in that scenario, what comes to the picture here?
So the person who is, so technically in that case, who is, first of all, the sponsor would be the client, the one who is funding the project. You're doing the project for this client, but who is funding this project is the sponsor. But who has contracted you? Is the client contracted you directly for the project?
Yes.
Then the Champion and sponsor are the same thing for you in that case. And I'm talking about a proper matured organization where you have levels within the organization. So we have a department head, so we have an operations head, HR head, and different departments. They are various champions that we have here. And then pretty much probably that boils down to the CEOs and CXOs of the company. Those are the sponsors at an organizational level. But generally, if you have an external client as a sponsor for whom we are working, this guy is technically my Champion and sponsor in that case. So these roles can be universal, but a typical organization, you will have, these are two different roles. One role talks about funding. One role is more about the one who will be kind of the owner of the project. So yes, you could see them clubbed together. So variations will be seen. Variation will be visible. So like in a small company also, you might have the Champion and sponsor role followed by the same person. Like if I have a 50 people company, the director of the company will be the one who is the sponsor and the fund and the champion as well. He will be funding and he will be managing and taking review also. So this role, but there are two different roles in Six Sigma. One is funding, another is the one who's managing it. So technically this guy is the manager.
Right.
Right.
Is there any organization like here? Give me an example where.
Like most of the, like say all big organizations, you'll have these two roles will be different. Fully matured organizations will always be having these two distinct roles. These two people will be always two different people. In a proper, fully matured organization, will always be two different roles. So funding authority is different. So and this will be like, so I say like this is the CEO, this will be the VP. In a proper structured organization. So generally this guy is managing the head of the particular department. We all boil down to the CEOs and CXOs, which is like this guy will secure the funds from as per Six Sigma. Technically, that's how we are differentiated. Because even ISO, like so, there's a ISO standard for Six Sigma, ISO 13053, 2011 version. Okay, 2011 version. This is ISO standard for Six Sigma. Now, even if you refer that will give you ISO standard for Six Sigma. So even this ISO standard refers these two roles to be different, and the roles have been categorically mentioned differently. This guy has only one job: give the money. That's it.
And this can happen within the single organization as a.
Yeah, absolutely. It's within the same. This one, like so, with the context that I'm talking about is within the organization. Here, it's within the organization.
Right. Okay.
It's not with a typical, and so when we even do a defined phase, there will be things slightly different in Lean Six Sigma. When we do project charters also, in a regular project charter, things are different. In Six Sigma project charters, things will be different. So Six Sigma has slightly different way of dealing with it. So when we talk about the project charter part tomorrow, we will be able to cover it up, and there will be a difference that we'll talk about. So there will be a difference in, as regular project managers, we do projects and we do explain about the challenges, why the problem is happening, all those things we mention in a project charter, not in Six Sigma. So we'll have there certain differentiation.
Just a last question. This champion or the sponsor can also outsource their project to service providers also.
Yes, absolutely, yes. So we might, like generally when we work as a consultant, we are external freelancers. So I'm as a freelancer, I work for a company that I will be introduced to a champion.
Right.
So these guys will be, I may be meeting sometimes the sponsor, but my general conversation will happen with the sponsor, with the champion.
Right. I have the picture now. Thank you. Thank you.
The sponsor was both EPC good projects. Yes, everything. So see, and variations will always be seen. There's nothing which is a hard and fast rule. You always see variations. Project size was a project is entitled for 1 or 2 departments. See, generally a project which is within a department is generally a green belt. When the project moves across department, then it will become a black belt project. Well, let's quickly have a look at it. Careers, initial stage of career. Well, best way to start a Six Sigma project, let me just, we still have some time we can talk about, because right after this is defined phase. So we can use this time to quite quickly answer this question. Let's see how, first of all, black belt is able to manage all these. Well, I may not be the expert in all the departments. So let's take a random example. This just to give an idea how do black belts work. If so there's a client which is complaining about, say, bad quality or something, some challenges. Client is complaining about it. Now we have, say, manufacturing kind of process. So we have a logistics team which is shipping the products to the customer. Before that, we have a packaging team. Before that, we have a quality team. We have a production team. There is a raw material coming from various vendors who supplying the raw material. So this is raw material vendor. So technically, the process is raw material, the vendor supplies the raw material, production team completes the manufacturing, which is quality audited. After the quality audit is done, it's packaged, and then you ship it to the customer. Now, customer is complaining about some product quality or something like that. So the questions are raised on the logistics team. Well, probably they have not shipped it correctly. They damaged the product while they were shipping it. Practically, there's some question raised on the logistics team. Well, these logistics teams say, well, we didn't do anything about it. Probably the packaging may have been wrong or not appropriate. These guys get into question also. Well, we don't know what maybe there are possibilities, or these are possibilities. Some people, they complain, no, we did it correctly. Probably it's the quality was not done correctly. So when quality team comes in, gets into question, production team gets into question. Of some people, production says, well, we are doing the right job the way we're supposed to do it. It probably is the material variability. We get different material from different vendors. That's why we're having so much of issues. A lot of things are, a lot of multiple departments are in loop now. Technically, that will be a black belt project. So what we'll do, this overall project, end to end, we call it as a black belt one. Now, how would we manage this black belt project? Let's see it. We have a green belt in the store, say raw materials, it's like the store department, whatever we have. Production team, we have a green belt. Quality, we have a green belt. Packaging. This is some mini projects that we deal with. Green belt knows green belt job, and they are functional managers also. This gentleman is a functional manager. This gentleman is a functional manager. They are functional managers who have been working in the department. So you don't need to teach them about their functional role. And plus they have knowledge of Six Sigma. So there are many projects which are happening within a department, which are green belt. Technically, all is been coordinated by the black belt. Everything is finally coordinated with black belt. And so black belt will be sort of taking a review, feedback, and if they get stuck, black belt will help. Where does it become a problem for the black belt? Work gets extensive when, so it's having a green belt. Whenever corporate trainings are done, generally management makes sure that at least there's one representative from every department. So everyone, at least we have one person from operations, one from quality, one from finance, one from marketing, every possible department, they at least nominate one person. So they can start taking up the individual departmental projects, and you can start seeing an all-round change in the entire organization. Many projects happening in every department. Now, technically, my problem will become bigger when there's no green belt here. It's a luxury to have green belt because they are functional managers. You don't have to teach them statistics. You don't have to teach them data collection and jargons and everything. So practically, they know their job. I just have to coordinate with them practically. My problem happens when I don't have a green belt here. So I have a functional manager who just knows logistics part. That's it. No idea of data collection, no idea of analysis. This guy is a functional manager. That's where my role will become extensive. So I have to work closely with this gentleman to tell him, well, how the data needs to be collected, what is the sample size you have to take for analysis, and how it needs to be checked and thoroughly whether the data is collected correctly or not. All that work load will come to you, which would generally be carried out by the green belt. So yes, your workload increases. So it's luxury to always have a green belt. Black belt is a function, like black belt may be coming from a background, say has a production background. Then this guy can give you valuable inputs in the production with the green belt. But I may not be expert of quality. I have never been a quality guy. My background, my experience has always been into production. So yes, when I'm working with this guy, I can give valuable inputs about functional product. But barring that, for every other department, yes, I'll be solely relying on the green belt. Plus, otherwise, if you don't have it, then you have a functional manager. Here, my workload increases. It definitely increases. So it's a problem not to have a green belt. You definitely need green belts who will be working at different levels. Now, a big question is, my company doesn't have Six Sigma. Well, we don't have a culture of Six Sigma. Yes, generally, most of the companies, we may not have a culture of Six Sigma to start with. So we will have to still implement Six Sigma to start. Like, it's very difficult to, and it will be not fair enough to ask for a Six Sigma project in a company where they do not have a culture of Six Sigma. They don't have confidence. They have never done it. Yes, I might have heard about it, but it's very difficult to convince them to do a project. When we will learn about Six Sigma, practically learn about a lot of tools, lean stuff. A lot of tools can be simply implemented without any hassle, simply without any cost or anything extra. Apart from this, Six Sigma has a lot of tools we will be learning. Just to kind of talk about, so we'll talk about 7 quality control tools. Can start implementing it. Even with this, you will see a great deal of improvement. Process capability testing, that can be implemented without any extra budget or extra team. You can get risk management covered. A lot of tools, we will cover them. So there's no need for you to ask for a project. That will be the wise decision. Don't ask for a project. With whatever process you have, go and start implementing, collect the current data without any improvement, and start using some of these lean tools and techniques. A lot of tools and techniques will cover. Even with the implementation of most of these lean tools and techniques, you will see a great deal of improvement happening. Your process will become more reliable, because there are a lot of tools which will come in handy here. So it will help you make sure your existing process become more streamlined, more reliable, more sustainable, and then you can quantify the results. Well, this is before I started implementing these basic tools, which I had, and without any team and any extra investment. And this is after the improvement. Well, great deal, showcase the result. Well, then when you have results to back yourself up, you don't have to wait for it. Without a proper project, if you were able to bring some benefits, showcase the benefits, quantify it, well, you get a project by default. That would be the right approach, rather, because most of the companies may not have a Six Sigma culture. You have to show the evidence, because otherwise people may not have that confidence. So it's always start using these tools. Start using tools, whatever we learn immediately to operations. You will be able to see, even with the implementation of those tools, you will see a great deal of change in what you do. That will be my advice. In order to get going with Six Sigma, the right thing is to start use most of it. You will not require any specific approval, just about a better management of your existing processes. Is it okay? I hope that those were a couple of questions that we had here in the chat. Is it clear with everyone? So we will be, so I guess that's all for today, but let's quickly, no, nothing else, nothing, no technical skills. Whatever technical skills are required, we will cover them up. Everything what is needed, we'll cover it up right here. So again, I would like to, before we call it a day, please make a note of it, this Google Drive link, because that's where I will be sharing this file right now. Please verify if you got this file. I will place it right away. So please check this out and confirm if you're able to download this file. Remember, you can view this file online, but you can't make changes with this as of now. You can download it. You can view and download. When you download on your system, it's all fine. But this is. All right, so file is right there. Please, if anyone can check and confirm if you're able to download this file from it. You can do a right click, download or download from here, drop down, it will all be fine. Bottom line.
Sir, is that same data earlier you I think keep it in this drive or you are changing it?
No. This is day one. I have added day one as a separate folder. This is existing normal data, which will not, but going forward every day, whenever we work, we'll be creating this day-wise folder. So day-wise, whatever we talk about, you can match with the recording and you can have all this. This extra files are there for practice. So we'll use this data, but going forward, whatever we'll create day-wise folder. Okay, perfect. Yes, so please do keep this link handy because that's what will be required. I'm working with entity. Black belt without any doubt, Shrikant, without any doubt in your case. If in research and development, without any doubt. See, green belt will just get the ball rolling, but honestly, black belt is what is required because you can't have limitation in terms of knowledge because there is only one portion you study in green belt. You not need to have a complete picture. So ideally black belt. Yeah, sure. Perfect. So I guess that will be all. I would request you all to please try and download this, keep it handy. Going forward, yes, we'll continue. Tomorrow we'll create a day to folder. So anything material that will keep adding up, and there'll be a lot of material apart from this, which will be added up. A lot of files, a lot of data templates, which is used in DMAIC. And I'll share it in device folder as we keep picking them up. So I guess that is all for today. Thanks everyone. It was really I'm really thankful to every one of you for your valuable time. Let's connect tomorrow. Stay safe, and we will connect tomorrow. And yes, but no, just refresh it. Regan, just refresh it. Probably just refresh it. You will see it's there in the folder. Just refresh it. Refresh your folder, and you will be able to see that it's there. Thanks everyone. Bye-bye. I'll be ending the session right now. Thank you.
Thank you, Shashi.
Thank you. Thanks. Bye-bye.